Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to another live stream with me, 320 Sim Pilot. Great to see you all here. It is mid-afternoon. This is like the old days. We started streaming on this channel back at the spring 2020, and it was very much like this. We were flying around in the mid-afternoon, certainly in the UK time. Of course, it could be any other time for the rest of you. But thank you all for coming along today. We're back in the ToLiss A340-600 preview, the latest sort of build of it that's releasing on the 25th, so it's coming very soon. I hope you're all excited to see it again. I know there's been quite a lot of 340 streams, but I couldn't resist it. This new livery came out from Emma Bentley, and it just looks fantastic. This is what I envisioned, and this is what I wanted to take into the air. So we're going to do a relatively normal, and that's normal in our sense, not normal for the 340, but a slightly longer sector. Give it a chance to stretch its legs a tiny bit and do a bit more of a normal sector, because I'm hoping to just use this airplane like we used the ToLiss A321 and our A320 NEOs and so on, just as another airplane, which is great. And the magic of it is I get to talk about Airbus stuff while I'm in it, because it is an Airbus, but something slightly different as well. So it's here, loaded up, exactly where we left it just 2 days ago, was it? The stand 303 at London Heathrow. I've removed a whole load of scenery, so hopefully the frame rates out of London are going to be more acceptable to you guys. And I'm going to jump into the chat and say hello. Thank you all for coming along. I can see very kindly VT Jake. Thanks so much for your $5 super chat. Jake says, wish I could make the stream. Unfortunately, I have a calc midterm in 30 minutes. Enjoy the flight, mate. Catch you next time. VT Jake, that's incredibly generous of you. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. I hope your exam goes well. And thanks for stopping in to say hello. And yeah, the stream will be on here. Obviously, straight after it'll be available to watch. But of course, we'll be streaming plenty of ones. A new flight soon. So thanks so much, very generous, thank you. And of course Danny Rubel has also very kindly tipped $3. Danny says hello, good afternoon, we'll join a bit later, looking forward to the approach and landing. Excellent. Yeah, I hope it goes okay, but thanks so much, Danny. Thanks for the very kind tip and for supporting the channel, really appreciate it. And we'll see you a bit later. Quite a long flight today, so 2 hours 52 flight time, and then of course all the fiddling around at the beginning and end. So we're looking at a good over 3 hours of stream here today. Right, as I said, into the chat, and I'm already behind, so I do apologise. I'm going to miss a few people, I have no doubt, because of the way my software sort of collates it. We are on YouTube and Twitch, so please feel free to watch along on either of those platforms. But yeah, Richard V, thanks for coming and moderating. Good to see you, J-Lust and Thorsten, James and Mardens in Frankfurt. Just the Cod Kid, hello to you. Dave Hughes, PlayFS, Doctor on Board, good to have you all here. Face Masks asks, why not Flight Simulator? We're in XP11. This airplane is in preview sort of stage, so coming soon to XP11, and it's one we were all very excited for, so I wanted to take it in the air again. I couldn't resist. We only did one sector with it so far. Ed Hassam, good to see you as well, and it's loads of names. I do apologise. Yes, Papa, thanks for coming along and moderating as well. Eric Scalavold says, can't have too many 340 streams. Good, because I know there has been a lot, so I do apologise for that if any of you are a bit tired of them by now, but yeah, no, I couldn't wait. Hayden J. Robbins, good to see you. Hayden would like a Hawk flight. Yes, I hope you've seen on the channel, I've got a Hawk video up, the Just Flight Hawk, absolutely brilliant. I had a lot of fun with that. One of the prettiest add-ons I've used for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Really, really nice, so I can highly recommend taking a look at that video if you're interested in the Hawk in any way. And yeah, okay, a live flight with that, I don't see why not. And I'll probably put that one on Twitch if we do that. But yeah, excellent. Shrig44, good to see you. HK Flight Simulation as well. And then there's loads and loads, so I do apologize. Mr. Espresso, good to see you. And right, I think I've missed loads. I do apologise. Henrik, thanks for the congrats on 50k. Yeah, we've done 50,000 subscribers. Unbelievably hard to imagine we'd ever reach that. And Seawards93, good to see you. Over on Twitch, let me make sure I don't miss anyone there. I do apologise. Just give me a moment, and then I promise we'll get going. I've missed loads and loads, but MCCL, I never managed the names on Twitch. John Padfield, good to see you. Captain Wazza as well. Brewery King, I hope you're doing very well. Great to see you here. And White Jedi, I have not played. No, I have played Flight Simulator since Update 6. I've just had a little go in the Hawk to see if it works. Sorry as well if you joined us on Twitch. I did get the notification that you might have got was wrong. I don't know why. I obviously haven't been keeping track of that because that was from a few streams ago. So hopefully that's correct now, and I'll make sure it's correct for the next stream. Right, jumping into the airplane. And Alex says it's one of his favorites. Yeah, it is absolutely lovely. It's one of those unique airplanes, and I think it turns out a lot of us had a bit of a thing for it in our hearts, so it's nice to see it come. I think any airplane with, you know, the engines just look great. Look at that, you've got so much power sitting there, and it's just that super long fuselage. Something interesting, you can describe an A340-600, you can say, well, it's got 4 engines but only 1 deck, and it's really, really long. You know, there's stuff to say, and it's got loads of wheels. Some airplanes it's a bit harder, including the 320 really, but we're very biased for that. Thanks for those follows to Andre, Nick, and Dap and Sloth. So it is cold and dark, as I said, on the stand where we left it. Out of interest, where did it put it? 767-757 it counts as, it seems. I can't get the jet bridge to work. We're using, this is the Aerosoft X-Plane Heathrow scenery, but we haven't got Orbex anymore around London. And I've taken out the other airports like London City, and I left Gatwick in because I didn't know how to uninstall it. But yeah, we wanted to make sure we get this running a bit smoother for you guys. So if I just look over, it looks like it's running a bit better than it was last time, which is a relief. PG Trot says, I flew this service to London to Los Angeles in 2010. Seem to remember spending half the time at the back trying and failing to chat at the stewardess and asking for more gin and tonics. There you go. Yes, Papa says, can't wait to get back home next week and buy this beauty. Exactly, yeah. It's coming very soon. Coming very soon. So jumping into the flight deck. A lot of you will be familiar with this, but it might be new for some of you. It's very Airbusy. So this is how it powers on cold and dark at the moment. So the GPUs are automatically on, you can see. And the batteries are on, which is actually typically how you'd find it, especially long-haul pilots. They don't tend to find their airplanes sat there actually cold and dark like we do. On short haul it's more common, but long haul aircraft tend to be, they land, and because they've been flying for 12 hours they'll have maintenance, like after every flight they'll have maintenance before going away again, whereas short haul aircraft will do 4-8 sectors in a day, and then they'll get maintained after that. So we're going to come in and do our usual. I have got a little A340 checklist, and hopefully some things I'll get right. I got a few things wrong last time I streamed it, which I didn't realise. I don't have a 340 FCOM, so I'm just going on what I've heard from people. So we were okay to start 2 engines at once. Apparently we'd start them on the same side at once, so 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, which would make sense because that would power the yellow and blue hydraulic system. No, it wouldn't. It would do green and yellow hydraulic systems, and then the second blue and green were the next ones. So that's fine. And what else? Oh, we need to do a flat 3 takeoff today. That's right. Someone pointed that out on the Discord, which is absolutely right. So we would do that. So yeah, Chris, good to see you. We've got to stream. I've forgotten to press start on the streams many times. Maxim says you can configure the config to be cold and dark in the ToLiss menu. Perfect, Maxim. So yeah, there you go. You have the option. But I quite like this. We'll go from here. It's pretty much the same. How come the fuel pumps are off? Fuel pumps go off on. Or how come? They aren't off, I don't think. Fuel. No, they seem to be left on. Again, not entirely familiar with the 340 system, but they've been left on this. It's they're turned off on the 320, but that could be a very type specific thing. So we'll do our usual. So we've got the engine mode selected normal, switches are off, landing gear lever is down, both wiper selectors are off, batteries we've checked, and we can see the voltage 27.3 anyway. And if we turn off battery 2, 27.8, no problem. So they're all good. And for some reason we have an APU voltage battery indicator, which I still haven't quite worked out why. But there we go. Oh, let me get the chat up and running. Thanks for the follow. Right, are there manipulators on the aircraft? Oh, I don't know what that means, but I'm using the sort of gestures now to maneuver the switches, which I do like a lot. Good, so that's all done, and let's move along to our overhead flow, ground control, get the switches into nav. All very standard Airbus. Oh, I don't like that. I'm going to turn it off and back to nav again. There we go. Come down here. We'll put the no smoking to auto, exit lights to arm, seatbelt signs are on because I have fueled up. Leave the rest as it is. Strobes to auto, nav lights to 1. Leave the rest of those off, and leave the AP off for now. This is amazing, much simpler than I expected it to be. Hunter, thanks for the follow. We've got the ground power arm. Fuel pumps are all on, as we said. And we would do our engine fire tests. Again, I like that as well, having all of them in one go. Very good. Oh, actually, it could be a little... Right. I don't understand. Streamlabs is every time I select it, it drags the sliders are full. So I'm having real trouble with that. So I'm going to try not to adjust it. So it might be a little bit quiet. So... do give me feedback on the volume, but I'm running some reason Streamlabs is being very difficult with it at the moment. And there we go. Right, let's head down into get the radio panels on. I don't think there are no controllers. It's going to be quite a quiet day today. You know, last stream was quite a big deal. We had a lot of people, and it was, you know, the first few streams of this aircraft. Today a little bit quieter, so we're going to have a nice relaxed time as we take it off. Trent 500s obviously, and we're on the AirX cycle that I've got. Not sure if that's right. So Definite A, we're going to go from Heathrow down to Marrakesh, which is I've recently found out. I didn't realise when I set up the stream that they've actually just stopped the passengers coming from the UK, so that's not ideal. But there we go. Version 292. I know that when I looked it up, and they seem to have stopped quite a few countries from Europe. So the only good news is there, well, not good news, but the only other news is that we're not the only country they've banned. Right, Costa next is going to be, I think it was set at 15, but I'm going to up it slightly to 25. We're going to cruise a flight level 390. Thanks for the follow, Rasmus and Owen and Max. Flight level 390 for this flight. Alternate GMMZ. So you'll recognise, some of you, I remember these codes from when I first, like I say, was first doing the channel. We went here in the ToLiss A321. It feels like a long time ago now, funnily enough. We should have, it's in here. How many passengers have I got? 229. I'm matched up to this one. I wanted 300, but the weights didn't work out. So we go 229. That all looks good. And let's load in the route. Oh no, that doesn't work. It works better if I do this. So, Mike says, just pretend we're the last night out. Yeah, exactly. That's what we'll be. If anyone else tells them we're from somewhere else, yeah, exactly. Adam Cooper, good to see you. Glad you like the aircraft. Yeah, it is something really good. Carl, don't worry. If you want it, you'll be able to have it soon. Not long to go now. But there we go. Right, we know a few new things this time. So that's in it A. Now it's time for flight plan. Diff. Now, runway in use at Heathrow. The last weather was giving us, I don't know why I went down there when I have to check over here. Last weather was giving us a bit of a 3208. So we are going to be on, well, that'll be the 27s. So shall we cheat? Where's anyone else going from? Thanks, Joe, for the follow. It's pretty quiet, isn't it? Should we take 27 left? As it's just over there. The Lufthansas are going possibly from there. Ah, here we go. Here's someone going. I think we'll take 27 left. Are they landing on it? Ah, thanks, Aegis. Yeah, I'll have to get hold of the Streamlabs team. Oh, they're landing. This Lufthansa looks like it's landed on 27 left, so we'll head over to the right. Fine. More taxiing, which is always good in this airplane. Sadly, that means our departure is slightly different to what I put. So if you are flying along, we were going to go with the Gazgoo, but we're going to have to go with the Gogsey departure. Insert, which finish at Gogsey. And then we're going from Gogsey to Southampton. And thanks for Seawiz for the subscription. Southampton, and then let's insert that. And then we'll take Airways, Mike 195. I should have done this before. I do apologise to Law Crew. Nothing worse than watching someone enter an Airways into an Airbus. As I always say, it's not the best system or best feature of the aircraft. QPR to upper Mike 30. They changed the names of these waypoints so much. It's amazing. You can fly around in this airspace for years thinking you start to recognise them, and then they all change and you don't have a clue which waypoint is what. Upper November 480 to Boulder. So we're heading down south over Southampton, as you can see by the SAM, and then we're going to go to over the Bay of Biscay, really. All very nice, very pleasant routing. Not doing anything too shocking. Boulder and then Batax. Weather should be lovely when we get there. I think it's up in the 30s. And then Abrat. And then Amsel. Inserts. Amsel. Airways. Upper Romeo 722. As you can see, this stuff just works, which is nice. ToLiss have got an excellent Airbus MCDU design. It's really, yeah, just what you expect. Arrival, runway 28, so it'll be an RNAV for 28, so it's good. We'll get straight on non-precision via MABAP. So I'll just do what we had planned, which is the 4 Alpha, but we'll re-inspect those when we get going insert that. Good. So about 1,293 miles. I was expecting 1,298, so that's close enough. That's within reason. Good. So that's flight plan, secondary copy, radnav auto-tuned, init B time. Thanks F1 Temper for the follow. And, sorry about that, just checking something. So here we have a 048 214. Oh, we can up it a little bit. Let's just do 2152. 240 passengers, that's pretty good. 215.2. Make sure to click apply. And then 23.6. This airplane famous for being slightly nose heavy. Block fuel. We needed 30.6. I'm going to go with 40.8. Just for the fun of it. I just like having large amounts of fuel. There it is, 40.8. Maybe we'll do a bit more dumping of it, see if we've mastered that system or understood it properly. So you've got, what have we got? 8 tons in the inner tanks, nothing in the center tank or tail tank, but it should maneuver it around a bit. 4.5 in those outer tanks, which also can't feed the engines, but there we go. Loads of fuel. These are just massive numbers, and it can hold so much more than that. But there we go. So we're going to go with 40.8. Take away 254 tons, landing at 232 tons, which all looks good. An extra 9 tons of fuel, which is 1.5 hours. It seems pretty efficient, but there we go. And finally then, in it B, we're up to, oh yeah, alternate fuel. Let's make sure we change that. Someone pointed it out in the last stream. I've been getting lazy with it. Should be 3.6. This reckons 3.9. That's funny. This reckons 3.6. Interesting. This is definitely a 340-600. Okay. Well, the final surplus alternate should be 7 tons. Interesting. Okay, well we'll leave it at 3.9 then if this thinks it's slightly longer. Could be it doesn't have the winds are favourable, so let's load in those winds. And final one, performance. So it turns out flap 3 is considered quite normal. I don't know if every operator would do this, but it looks like well, that someone's got a line from an FCOM that says you should. Again, some airlines may write that in or they might not. It does depend. It seems like the option to have 1+F was there, but if 3 is normal, then I don't see any reason why not to use it. Something a bit different as well, and it's 3, and then up 3.3. There we go. Flex 2, temperature 46. We found out we need to put in F, 46. And standard engine acceleration and thrust reduction acceleration. Swiss Party, good to see you. Kai, I hope you're doing well. 40.8 tons. Yeah, that is it. And speeds, 152. 152. So a little bit lower than last time. 156. Because, of course, we got a bit more flap. And there it is. Transition altitude 6,000 makes sense. Clean speed 222. No problem doing that on this departure. And no speed limit anyway. So that's it. That's all done. Straightforward. We'll leave that as it is. This is all loaded up. I'm going to close up the last of the doors. They were in auto, but I did open them on purpose. Let's fire up the APU. 1, 2, 3. Our flight plan is filed with air traffic control. Let's get the pushback tag.
Please show me where you want to go.
I would like to go here.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Go cool. Thanks for your subscription. Yeah, no, I've heard, I've heard that there's a suspension on flights from the UK. Sadly, yeah. Sorry about that. Michael John says, "Good afternoon. Good to see you back in the flight deck of what is for me the best in the Airbus family of aircraft." Yeah, I think a lot of us really like this Airbus. So thanks for coming along. I think that's the sound of the tug arriving. And let me get onto Unicom 1228.
Okay.
Haven't heard anything on Heathrow grounds.
Ready to connect.
Where's my X-Pilot? There it is. Nope, no controllers at all. I don't think the price has been announced yet, Stephen. So I'm afraid I don't know. Even if it has been announced, I don't know it. Sorry about that. Can you hear the first officer from even there? She just walked past and told me off, but she hasn't actually joined us. Christopher says, how is this for timing? This releases Monday, the day my vacation starts. Excellent. Oliver Emmett, thanks for your subscription. Yeah, that is good timing. John's really loving it as well. Excellent.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Right, so they're ready to go downstairs. That's not actually, they would only do that. They'd only ask us to release parking brake usually when we've told them that we're ready. So let's get rid of the fuel. But the reason I do that is just so it does all work at once. APU is definitely available. Get rid of the ground power units. Put on the APU bleed. So it's just so as you'd expect, really. Goodbye ground power. Off it goes. Goods. And let's run the before start checklist. Copy prep is completed and completed. Gear pins and covers removed. Signs are on and auto. ADs are all in nav. Fuel quantity, we have 40.8 tons of fuel. Takeoff data is set. Oh no, hold on. I should have shown you the departure, which stops at 6,000 feet. There it is. That makes more sense. If we go to plan and zoom in, there you can see it there. And thankfully they've aligned in time. As you scroll down, there it is, Gold Key, and then out to Southampton. Takeoff data is set. Barra ref. Oh, that's why the checklist. Terrible. See, I'm in a total rush today and it doesn't work. QNH is 1012. So that's lucky. We'd have got away with it. 1012, 1012. I've set it to synchronize. Obviously, I'm a big fan of that in simulators because it's, of course, in real life, you'd have another pilot to do it. Below the line, windows and doors are closed for both. Beacon on. Thrust levers idle. And I'm going to put the transponder to auto. Parking brake is on. So that, oh, there we go. That is the before start check is complete. They've told us they're ready downstairs, so we're just going to announce to air traffic control. Heathrow traffic version 292 pushing from stand 303 to face east. Right. No one around. Brakes released. Let's
Starting pushback and you may
start the clock. You saw me reach over here where it would be in the little Airbus. Couldn't resist it.
Speedback 26 Delta, push from stand 563 facing north.
And there is traffic. TCAS working nicely. Why is it doing that? It should be. Ah, it's already on tier 8. That should be on standby. There we go. See, it all works. Just got to set it to the right thing. Right. Off we go. First normal sector. Let's start up engine number 3 and 4, which this APU should be strong enough for. So, motor sector ignition. Pressure. 3, 4. Starting the clock. Now the FPS issues are the stream. It's running totally smoothly on my screen. It's running totally smoothly on my screen, but it's not running smoothly for you guys. It's something I have in London. It worked totally fine. Well, it'll be fine when we get out of London. And I've removed all the extra scenery and the Orbex scenery because that does impact my frame rates around London. But there's something going on with the stream from the exterior views around London. I don't understand what it is. Yeah, I can see you guys getting juddering, and it's not actually the internet, it's my streaming software. I don't know why, but I promise totally smooth on my end.
Heathrow traffic, speedbird 501 becoming localizer established 27 right 10 miles.
Eric, thanks so much for the 340 knock. I totally missed that. I do apologise. Thanks for the 340 knock super chat. It's really very kind. Eric says, absolutely love the 340 and the 242 seating. Sad to see it go away so soon. Give you FO a pet from me. Will do, Eric. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. That's very kind of you. And yeah, I agree. The seating was absolutely lovely. Let's start up engine 1 and 2. I can do that with my TCA pack. There it goes. And yeah, thank you, Eric, for supporting the channel and coming along yet again. Really appreciate it.
Parking brake.
Right. Brake set to park.
Disconnecting tow, stand by.
I think if we set this to camera, you can actually see the tug. I like that.
Heathrow traffic, speedbird 501 fully established 27 right.
Ah, Alphonse, I didn't realise the merge link was broken. That's on Twitch, is it? I'm terrible at Twitch. Do apologise. I'll have a look at that. Is that in the description, is it? But yeah, thank you again to Eric for that very kind super chat. Really appreciate it.
Speedbird 717 is on INS 27 right. 8 miles out.
Oh no, so they're all landing on 27 right. That's where we're going to take off from. There we go, that's available. Ground crew is still there. I can still see the tug. I like that. That's great. So, back to norm. Off. Recenter. Flaps 2, 3. And did it auto set the trim? So, the gross weight CG is 26.4. 26.4. I should have watched it. I meant to watch it. But I think it did. It's supposed to. The real aircraft does because they're nervous of tail strikes on takeoff. There goes the tug. You just saw it drive out of view there. Can't run this checklist until we have got through this. Oh, someone's switching to 27 left. There's the hand signal. Matt Warren, thanks for the subscription. And... oh dear. Someone doing ILS calibration or something like that. So let's run the afterstart checklist. It is anti-ice, not required. ECAM status is checked. Pitch trim is 26 point... what do we say? 26.4. And the rudder trim is at 0, way down there. That's the afterstart checklist complete. Now, where are we going to taxi? Thanks, Pilot Chris, for your subscription. And we're going to taxi Bravo. Let's take Bravo Alpha for 27 right. It was 27 right we have in there. Yeah, good. Heathrow traffic version 292 taxiing Bravo Alpha 27 right. Runway turn off. Nose lights. Good. Right. Let's get our feet on the pedals. Brakes released. That's still an old hangover from we're getting all the Airbuses. Right, let's get it moving. Let's do a brake check. All good. And we're moving.
Delta and Alpha.
Right. Okay, so yeah, my Twitch TV part should not be there indeed. I'm surprised I got that so badly wrong. Right, moving along. What else can we do? It's funny that the stream software likes it when we're in the cockpit. I wonder if the frame rates are too high outside. I sometimes have that. Maybe I need to put VSync on. Yeah, same problem from the wing views. I suspect the frame rate is getting too high. The stream software hates it and it gets upset. Look at that though, that's what we wanted to see. Love it. Oh, no. Sitting on the rudder pedals too long. We're going to overtake the speedboat over here. Jellybelly, thanks so much for the £4.49 super chat. Really appreciate it. It's very generous. Jellybelly says... great video on the Hawk T1 from Just Flight. Looks like you're a frustrated airshow pilot. Really appreciate it, Jellybelly. That's very kind. I'm going to slow right down here.
Yeah, some guys not squawking, just flying around Heathrow. Yeah, really rude, this guy.
We're not taking this runway. We're too good for this runway. But yeah, thanks so much, Jellybelly. Really appreciate it. And I'm glad you like the Hawk T1 video. And yes, I would love to do a bit of displaying. But sadly, it has not come to be. But thanks so much. And I'm glad you enjoyed the video. The Hawk T1 video was one of my favourite videos I've made. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it as well. Because I have a good bit of fun when I have a bit of space to do something a bit different. It was good fun. Yeah, really liked it. It's amazing with 4 engines at this weight. So we are 255 tons and we're just too light. It's just running away. It's amazing. No, the nose gear does not seem to be turning on the camera. No, I'm not sure if it will or if that's a bug or not. Right, so if we get that magenta dot, there we go, on the line, somewhere there, it should keep the centre bogey in the right place. Which does seem to work. It's an amazing tip someone gave me last stream. I really like it. Just something sensible. Problem is, it's a little bit distracting. Is it to do with the screen resolution? It could be. I haven't changed much. I suspect I get slightly lower frame rates in the cockpit. Now, that speedboat's gone from 27 left. We're going to go 27 right, because we're going to be special and do what we want. At some point here, let's do it here. We'll do the flight control checks. Thanks so much, GD, for the $6.91 tip. Really appreciate it. That's very kind of you. And GD hasn't left a message, but I really appreciate it. Thanks, Jelly Belly, and thank you again to GD. That's really very kind. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for supporting the channel. There's full left. Let's do a bit of inside and full right. Neutral. Full down. Full up. Neutral. Full right. Full left. Neutral. Flight control's done. The FO will do theirs. We're going to put the radar to auto, auto. System 1. And I would probably have it tilted up a bit there. Yeah, let's go this way. Tight little set of taxiways for the long-haul aircraft they must have here. Hello, guys. Thanks for coming along. I'm going to just go straight ahead here. That looks easiest to me. We also need to put the TCAS to TARA. We're going to have max auto brake, which we just do press RTO arm. It's not actually called max in this one. And we're going to do the takeoff config test. Don't need to ding dong the cabin crew for some reason, but I will. We are on VATSIM, but there's no controllers here. It's mid-afternoon in the UK on a really sunny day, so most people here are probably out and about. They don't have the same passion for flight simulation as us. So there we go. That's just running away. I need to try this. What we'll do is we'll... the reason we have to be quite light is just because we haven't got the fuel. I've got loads of weight on board and our landing weight's pretty heavy, but we just need to add more fuel for the taxi out, and I'd be curious to see how it handles, because I would anticipate it would actually struggle to taxi on 2 engines, but I think in this case we could have done 2 engines and it would have been fine. Rusted Play, thanks for the follow, and Benny and Syntheside. Martin Brandon, yes, I'm using the 2 thrust lever Thrustmaster TCA. The captain's pack is going to be given away very soon. Competition winner to be announced soon. But yes, they are assigned to 2 each. ToLiss just did that automatically. It's just brilliant. Right, before takeoff checklist, flight controls are checked, flight instruments are checked, briefing is confirmed. Flap setting config 3 green, config 3 blue, and I'm just going to cheat and use this. V1, VR, V2, 152, 152, 156, and flex temp is set to 46. ATC is set, and ECAM memo, takeoff no blue. Next one is below the line. Version 292, lining up Heathrow runway 27 right, departing to the southwest. Right, let's do the rest. So strobe lights on. The landing lights on, just one switch as we saw last time, very nice. And it's going to see takeoff runway is 27 right, 27 right, camera crew advised, TCAS is TARA, engine start select norm, packs are going to be on. That's before takeoff checks complete. Let's go. Yeah, train and ND, good idea. Let's have that. We'll have the weather radar over there because I'm pretty sure there's no weather. It's actually basically CAV-OK. Let's see, let's get that. Lines, there we go. So that is the pink dot just in the right place there. And if we look outside, yeah, it does work. Good night. Thanks for coming along. Yeah, it's getting pretty late in Japan. Is it clear on approach? I haven't heard anyone. I'm so sorry. Somebody messaged me with the updated Bluebell CSL pack, and I didn't do it. I'm so sorry. I totally forgot to do it this morning. I do apologise if you're watching, but thanks for the message. I did see the message. Right, let's get this right. I need to focus up here. Oh, I've missed it. I've missed it. I have definitely overcooked that. Oh, maybe not. Nope, maybe not. So they're on 27 on the left. That's good. I wonder what would happen if we had the screen on camera, because I know the cameras don't work in flight. Let's put the FO to taxi. We'll have it off, and then we'll go Heathrow traffic version 292, taking off 27 right. Right, engines are warm. We are ready to go, and let's go to Marrakesh. So, time is running. Half side stick down. 50%. Brakes released. 2 clicks forward. Man, Flex 46, SRS runway. Order thrust is blue and armed. Remember, there is rotate law in this aeroplane. Tail strikes being the obvious issue, but hopefully flap 3 will make it even easier. 80 to 100 knots, releasing that pressure to neutral. Bit of a wind from the left, sorry, from the right, which you can feel. It's trying to turn. I wonder if being this long it's more susceptible to crosswinds or less. Heavier aeroplanes are usually a bit better. V1, rotate. I'm going to hold the stick in that position, and it should keep rotating. No, it needs a bit of a pull. Positive climb. Gear up. There we go. Yeah, I keep trying to put it through to sort of 17.5, but 12.5 seems pretty normal. 12.5 is about where you'd end up with an engine failure on a 320, which is why it really does throw me. But long-haul aircraft are different. Fantastic, love it. Yeah, just those exterior views. I'm going to bet it's the frame rate. Climb. Click. Thrust, climb, climb, auto thrusts. And now, as far as I'm aware, autopilot 1 is in. Same as a 320. Above the F speed. Flaps go to 1. I'm going to see. We're going to leave it a bit now and just see if there's any auto flap retraction. I have seen flap relief, and you'll notice the camera's turned off on its own there. Seems to be automatic, so there we go. I wonder if that's, yeah, I assume that's built in to the real one. Jan42, thanks for the follow, and Amber King. And Anwar, thanks for the subscription, and Simon for the follow. So let's see if there's any sort of flap relief or that sort of thing. So there's S, we'd normally retract them now. Limit speed for flap 1 plus F. So there goes F, so there we go. We have auto flap retraction. Happened at about 220, didn't it? And now we can go really fast. The slats on this airplane can go to 280. So let's bring them into 0 now, because we're not going to reach that. Disarm the ground spoilers. And not that one. Get rid of these. Right, turn that off. After takeoff climb checklist. Landing gear lever. Sorry, landing gear is up. Flaps retracted. Packs on. That's down to the line. I say we keep climbing. Let's go up to 390. No traffic to talk to, so why not? Let's leave it in managed, why not? Oh no, managed, it's going to follow that SID. So we'll do 39, thrust come open climb, set standard as well, which is in, and we've got thrust come open climb, out is blue flight level 390. Below line bar F is standard and standard. After takeoff climb check is complete. Off we go. Thanks for the follow, and Barry, thanks for the subscription. Look at that climb rate. This is where this airplane gets into its own as it accelerates and gets higher up. Beautiful. Oh, well, I hope you enjoyed the departure. I did. That was good fun. I like the flap 3. That was nice. Nice takeoff. Seemed a bit easier for the rotation, so I can see why it would be used. Richard V, we don't have True Earth for this one. Yeah, normally I would. I should have updated my Streamlabs info as well. I turned off the Orbex scenery for the South UK. The reason I did that was to hopefully improve the frame rate. I hadn't worked out what was limiting us. Something around London just causes us problems. That is 103 coming 39. So let's get the landing lights off. Passengers can go walkabouts. The bar is open. I'm going to go to airport. That should have been on constraint. And I'm going to go to secondary, copy. We're going up to 39. Optimum's 385. Maximum 41. So no problem there. We are very light. So I had suspected as much. Fuel burn, 2.3 tons plus 38. That puts us at 44, 40.8. Yeah, that's about right. Very good. No worries, Richard. I've constantly said the wrong thing about scenery. I've done it so many times in videos and streams. Yeah, FPS is better than last time. Again, the FPS I see, it's what's the difference? Yeah, we're at 57. We'd probably be in the sort of the 30s using Orbex's London scenery because it's obviously just incredibly detailed. So many autogen buildings. But having said that, it doesn't seem to make a difference. Well, there's something worse on the exterior view still, so I have to work that one out. No, this is the longest 340 that does climb really well. It's got the 4 proper engines on it. Sebastian, that should be higher quality, so try the settings in YouTube. Manera says, how do you calculate the flex temp for takeoff? I use the built-in calculator. Performance calculators, you either have to have the charts or you can have the calculator, and it's built into this simulator. Now we're in flight, it gives you the METAR for your destination, a nice little touch by ToLiss. But it was here, you could put, as long as you had a route in the box, as we called it, or the McDo, you have a route in there, you can select the config and it will give you the options. Yeah, very easy. Graham says, hi Cat, what about the wind on the init page for climb and descent? Is it available? Yeah, we loaded in the winds using the init A page, in wind in there, and then you can load in climb winds, cruise winds. Yeah, all available. Just the same, very, very similar. Igor, thanks for the follow, and Afonso. The A340 is not yet out, Jackson. Sorry. 25th. No, a max for takeoff weight, it would not be climbing this well. It's just so light. Remember, it can just hold... Well, let's see. We can put on 150 tons of fuel. And we put on 40. So there's another 100 tons. Quite comfortably, it could be heavier. So it would not be climbing so well. Because remember, 100 tons, it's a 252 ton aeroplane. So you're adding another 50+% to the weight with a normal fuel load for a long haul flight. So, yeah. Ah, that's what that little scroll is. You can make it bigger and smaller. That's nice. I hadn't noticed that. 20,000 feet. We're really picking up some pace now. Cruise speed today, up at 390. It's going to be 81. Brilliant. Love it. I've adjusted the timing slightly to give it daylight. So 15:02. 2 hours 40. That's about right. Might be taking a break at some point in this flight for the first time in a while. Scalar, yeah, we did the fuel dump last stream. Yep. In our first flight in it, we did a bit of fuel dumping during the cruise. We can show it again today. We got 5 tons spare to throw out the window. That's why I put it on. There's the Isle of Wight on the terrain display. Total flight time, 2 hours 52 in theory. CPDLC is not yet working on this add-on, Igor, but it is a work in progress. When it will be available, I don't know. But if we go to ATC comms, for example, last request, it just says work in progress. Yeah. Chris Drew, good to see you again. Chris knows, he's got a lot of information on the 340s. Chris says, at 100 tons on the fuel, the green dot can be up to 260 knots, especially in the 340-300. You have to request high speed just to clean up. Yeah, I can imagine. Goodness me. Yeah, so 220 knots clean. I mean, the 321 can easily be 220 knots with the clean speed. So, on takeoff, so it's not even much worse than a 321. Alpha says, gotta love XP11. I seem to be spending too many hours in the Airbus Phenom 300 recently, but it's like a kid's toy compared to this ToLiss. I thought its climb rate was good, but this is insane. Yeah, this is a bit of a monster. Again, just because it's basically empty for this. This is... Well, think about this. This is a 3-hour flight, and this thing could easily do 12 plus hours. So this is really the last like quarter of the flight. Alex says, I'm getting so jealous watching this stream of the 340. Can't wait until it comes out. Not long to go. GD says, a sim plane like this would be ideal for work. Take off to cruise over the ocean, do 8 hours in the office, just and get home in time for the descent and approach. Yeah, exactly. Like I said before, I used to do a bit of... I don't recommend doing this, but it's just something I ended up doing. When I had a lot of things to study, I would study the... I would set up a flight. It would just be to keep me at my desk. So I would set up FSX 757, something like that. Captain Sim, I think it was 757. Take off from Gatwick or wherever and head south to the Canaries and leave it in the cruise. And whilst it was in the cruise, I would sit at the desk and do the studying I needed to do. And then, you know, I sort of knew coming was the approach and landing. As long as I didn't get too distracted, sort of sitting in outside views or wing views. Sad, I know, but that's what I used to do. Oh, you can start to see the contrails from those engines, even back at this seat. Yeah, those lovely red engines. Ooh. Thanks, Lot 30 for the message. I thought we found a controller that was going to hassle us. Is the sunshade extendable, or is it just a non-usable thing? No, Justice, it is most certainly extendable. Yeah. Luxury of being a long-haul pilot. Better sunshades than we get in the 320 family. Skyler says, honestly, I tried doing some short runway challenges in this. Extra challenge of avoiding a tail strike. Yeah, I would. I've avoided that so far, but I wouldn't blame you. That's the sort of thing I'd be doing, not on a stream. Chiku says, Virgin Atlantic livery is really nice. Iconic, specifically on an A340. Indeed it is, yeah. Yeah, this is a nice one. T-Bomb says, hello cat, Topwood as well. All as well, thanks for coming along. Johnny says, what I do is set a flight and during cruise or watch a video. Excellent. I'm glad, Johnny. That's what I'm here for. This, like I say, I was really excited to do a flight like this again, seeing as this is where we all started. Between the ToLiss 319 and 321, says T-Bomb, which is better or the same? I only have the 21 at the moment, so I can't comment on that, I'm afraid. Someone in the chat may be able to help you. AstroJew says, really happy how in 1 to 2 months we got 2 good long hauls for X-Plane. Fearless if you like classic retro and this for modern. Yeah, that's true enough. It's catering for all markets. Indeed, Alphanta, we have sunshades and cup holders. Their cup holders are... Where are their cup holders? We get a tray table now, though. I'm assuming it's behind this tablet if we were to turn that off. So that's... The 320 there sort of here. Where would a long-haul pilot would surely... Maybe they put it there. I really don't know. But once the tray table's out, they give you a good option. Just keep it away from this area. Most certainly. Problem with this is you get this effect. Slightly cuts out your view. You do have to sit up in your seat a bit. In the real aircrafts, it doesn't. Don't ask me how. It doesn't quite restrict your view. It's designed very carefully not to. Well, we're having no trouble here. Climbing at decimal 79, which is faster than your average cruise in a 320. So we're still climbing at 700 feet per minute. Excellent. Yeah, the 321 is upgradable to the NEO and XLR versions. That's true. If you get the ToLiss A321, you could then... It is a pay add-on, but you can pay to upgrade it to a NEO as well. Then you've got more options, perhaps. DC says, one of the joys of being a pilot is that every day you fly is a sunny day. Even on those rainy days on the ground, you just climb through it. Yeah, that's it. And it's such a joy when you take off and get above that cloud layer on those. I love it in the mornings as well, dark winter mornings, and you take off and the sun's just rising and you get on your way and the gears come up. And because obviously all the stresses and strains of that early start come from most of the hassle of your day will be in the first sort of hour. Getting to the airplane, making sure everything's in order in the tech log, making sure that the maintenance is all done, and doing the walk around in the cold and dark and in the rain and all that, and get boarded. And once you've done all that and you've got a cup of coffee and you're climbing out into the sun, it's the best job. Yeah, it's great. The only Millhouse says the first payware I ever bought was the PMDG 747, and I think I spent the first hour playing with the seats and sunshades. Yeah, that has a lot of animations, doesn't it? Chris Drew says the sunshades on the 340 are better than the 350. On the 350, it's a separate piece of acrylic. You need to use both hands to clip on a rail. I guess it's because HUD's in the way. Oh, I see. Yeah. So that's funny. The Dash 8 used to have separate pieces, separate little panels that were on a rail that ran around the side, which was not a great system. Yeah, but it was very flexible. They were just too small, really. But that's interesting. The 350 has the same. Yeah, it sounds like the HUD could be it. So, Chris, do you fly those aircraft at the moment? T-Bomb says, what's the biggest difference between the NEO and standard 321? The engines, most certainly. Yeah, there have been instances of spillages onto the centre console, John. Yeah, I think one of them made the news. Roy says, I'm thinking the tray table is 99% the reason Airbus went to side 6 instead of yours. Yeah, I hope so. I like the idea that it's that way around. I like the idea that Airbus made the airplane with a tray table and said, oh no, we need to put the control column somewhere, so they made a stick. It'd be less interesting if they made the side stick and then said, oh well, we have space for a tray table. I'm hoping the tray table came first, but I doubt it, but I like the idea. Thanks for the subscription, Tony. Dexnator for following, Janka for subscribing, and thanks to NWA45. Is that Northwest? Thanks for the message. Skyler says the best thing about this is the long haul capability means you can do a short ferry flight. There's Mac Upstar. Means you can do a short ferry flight with minimum fuel and the thing will launch faster than the space shuttle. Yeah, it does. Outcruise. Look at that. So what's that? I stopped my timer, don't I? But we only pushed back 30 minutes ago and we are in the cruise now. 39,000 feet. Accelerating at 8.1. So that lands us with 18.9. Out of interest, $18.9 hasn't made any difference. Thanks, Sordine, for the subscription. EDUF for the follow. I love bread for the follow. Really appreciate it. And we have a controller before I don't get to that one in time. 1255. Thanks, Audience, for the subscription. Very kind of you. Thank you to all of you who joined us today. I do apologise if I missed your name. We've had quite a few today. Sure, good afternoon, Virgin 292, flight level 390 to Lorku.
Virgin 292, bonsoir, Squawk 5642.
Squawk 5642, Virgin 292. Don't know if my radio panel works for that. Five, 6, 4, 2. I don't think it's going to work. No. 5, 6, 4, 2.
Virgin 292, identified direct Balda.
Thank you, Derek Balder, version 292. Excellent. Good start to a flight when you get a routing like that. Derek Balder. Cut off a bit of time. It's easy to think it would cut off loads, and then you realise it's made basically no difference. Max Autobrake, thanks for the subscription. Best office in the world, isn't it? It's certainly the best views. Alpha Hunter, yeah, I absolutely agree. Shrig says, my pops had to replace 3/4 of a radio panel due to a wayward coffee spill. Yeah, it does happen. Sorry, I missed a few messages there. This is released on the 25th, Manan. We are indeed on VATSTIM. T-Bomb says, we have a rule at our company that you never hand coffee over the centre console. There you go. Yeah, and that's definitely the same where I am. I think that's a good sense, really. Skylar likes to turn off 2 ADRs and force it into alternate law, make sure a good air show. Yeah, you can have a bit more fun like that. AstroTrue says, got to agree, even in a sim it feels amazing to going from miserable weather in low altitudes to clear skies above the clouds. Yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about. It is a very good crowd for such an early stream. Thank you all for coming along. I hope you're enjoying it. Do please hit the like button if you are enjoying it on YouTube. Really appreciate it. It makes a massive difference to the channel. Crashed. Ed Haslam says, what is a third MCDU behind the engine ignition switches for? Is it just for redundancy? I believe it is. I don't know. I've never had it on my aircraft. It also gives, obviously, the pilots on the jump seat access to an MCDU where they can perhaps fiddle with things. It could be used specifically for weather, so you could have this one to print out. You'll notice the printer's full size on this aircraft. It's like a full A4 width printer, so you could type in here, get the weathers printed out and so on there, leaving these ones free to be left on the appropriate pages. Yeah. Enhanced Cloudscape I haven't looked at. I have not looked at it. Does it affect FPS? It's my first question. Nordic Sim Pilot, good to see you. Nordic Sim Pilot says, finally I caught the 320 Sim Pilot stream. The 340 looks amazing. Yeah, it does look great. Good to see you. Thanks for coming along. Let's put the foot warmer on because my feet are genuinely getting a little bit cold sitting here doing this. The room where I stream from doesn't get much sun. Satrick, thanks for the follow. One trader would like the outside view. Here it comes, but you might not hear me. It goes a bit loud, so... there you go. I don't know if you can hear me, but here's the outside view. Voice is more clear on this view. Oh dear. Well, I did turn down the audio, so hopefully it sounds like it's worked. Just trying to get through a few questions. Yes, you can pop out the MCDU, but it pops out quite small because of the resolution I'm running the sim at, so it doesn't work for streaming. If Cloudscapes does hit the FPS, I might struggle to stream it because I have to be very careful to keep the frame rate up, because of course my streaming software and so on all takes some strain out of my system. A340 is 7 meters longer than the 777-300ER. Exactly. It was supposed to compete with the 777, but didn't manage, as we can tell. But it is. This was the longest airliner until the 747-8 came out. Oh, Stone says for them, enhanced Cloudscapes doesn't really drop frames, only kills 2. So it would depend on your computer, obviously. So maybe I'll try it. How much better than this does it look, though? Because I don't have a huge problem with X-Plane's default clouds, I must confess. Mo says, is ETP model? I haven't tried it. I have not tried it. It would depend, because that has to be coded, of course, by the company. So I don't think, I don't see where it would be coded in. Assuming you're, what are you referring to with ETP? Emergency turn, or is that something different? It's probably, that's an acronym thing. Enhanced Skyscape looks pretty nice. There's a 20-minute demo that restarts with each X-plane launch. Right. Long as it's the Antonov 225. Yep, makes sense. Alpha Bravo would like to see a dirty version of livery. I'm sure someone will. Yeah, I'm sure the liveries will start coming. The paint kit's now available. The cup holder is obscured by the armrest, says Chris Drew. It overhangs your nav bag, so your coffee can spill over your nav bag during turbulence or a firm landing. Yeah, very similar to the 320 then. If you have your bag open and a cup of coffee in the coffee holder, that could end in tears. Oh, equal time point, of course. Yeah, not in emergency terms. Okay, thanks, Mo. Let's have a look at it in a second. So, Chris Drew, do you operate the 340 at the moment? Oh, not at the moment, but the 350 at the moment, sounds like. Enhanced Skyscapes. So there's Skyscapes or Cloudscapes? Is it the same thing? I'm so behind on these things. Everyone seems to really like it. Right then, yep. So ETP, it is a function on the 320. We never use it. So it's going to take me ages to work out where it's hidden. I'd have thought it's in data. Data, equitime point, there it is. So to Heathrow, we had to put in the wind. The real aircraft was loaded in, but between the 2 points to get us back to Heathrow, we're going to reach the equitime point at 12:55 in 20 minutes. Enhanced Skyscapes is the new one. Okay. 747 may be longer, but 340 feels longer because of the gear location. Looks like a Photoshop stretch, and I love it for that. Exactly, yeah. I think being so without that second floor, it just looks so skinny, doesn't it? Alpha Bravo says maybe do a step climb to save some fuel. So we could do a step climb, but if we go to the progress page, Optimum's 389. So we're at 39, so it's not worth it yet. The next level we would go to, obviously we have to cruise at odd, is to go... in fact, no, hold on. We should be on even. This must just about be an odd routing, but it would be 4-1, obviously, being the next level. So I'd wait for this to be... when the Optimum gets to above 400, then I might consider it. What we could do for that, of course, is jump in here, step outs, and the real aircraft, does it work? If I put in 410, it would actually... no, ToLiss doesn't do it, but the real aircraft would actually calculate when you should do it. So we could put it in. I don't think it's going to make much difference. Our flight plan was up at 39, but 2,000 feet. Yeah. One day we'll use this for a real long haul. We will have to do it, won't we? Chris Drew says, in the 350, ETP is in the flight plan page. Yeah, the 350 is quite different, isn't it? It doesn't look much like this. This is very much the generation 2, I suppose you could call it, Airbus style cockpit. Matt Warren says, beautiful stream so far. Thanks, Matt. Matt says, did my first long haul flight in Microsoft Flight Simulator yesterday from Los Angeles to Heathrow. Started the flight in the morning, went to work and got home in time for the descent. Excellent. Your house must have been very warm when you got home, because the room I have my computer in when Flight Simulator runs does heat up. European Aviation Group uses a cargo version of the 340-600. Very good. Flying High, thanks for the follow. And ExtinctBot, thanks for the follow as well. So, Chris saying the cup holder is obscured by the... Oh, that is bad. That's the cup holder. That's actually the cup holder we have on the 320 jump seat, and it's hopelessly difficult to get cups in and out, and it only takes very small cups. There you go. So that's one thing the 320 does have an advantage in. Then we have a nice cup holder up here, which I do like, but even up here, any turbulence, it can spill out into this bag, and if it falls out, it's going straight into your flight bag down there. So it looks like they've got a special rubberized sort of flight bag grippy area. It's just more carpet in the 320. Go to the cabin. We can enjoy the TVs. Everyone, once again, keen plane spotters enjoying the camera. Doesn't seem to load up clouds. I don't know how they've done this, because I would have thought it would kill the frame rate, but it seems relatively... Well, it doesn't seem to do anything at all, really. And it runs at a slightly lower frame rate itself, but it's clever stuff. Really great for taxiing. Really nice touch. No FPS drops for Simon. Okay, so it must depend on your computer. Leon says, why can you fly it now? ToLiss kindly sent it over as a preview copy. ETV does work, T-Bomb. Yeah, I think France and Spain south, north is odd. Really? Yeah, I'm not a flight planner. I'm not very I'm not going to give you very good information if I start talking about odds and even flight levels. How about an A340 long haul flight just at about 50.3 thousand subs at Assam? Sadly, I'm going to have to do not sadly at all, but Concorde will be the celebratory stream indeed when I get around to learning it. I know I could be learning it right now, but I thought, well, I couldn't resist going for another stream. I'm not doing Across the Pond, Stone. No, I don't have a slot, and I couldn't guarantee I would be available for it. Skater says, I'll be honest, the cup holder looks like it'll hold the paper cups from the airport water dispenser and nothing more. Yeah, that's it. That's the size of those. Did the seatbelt signs come on in the cabin when you operate the switch? Oh, good question. We'll have to have a look. Parasim, thanks so much for your £4.49 super chat. Parasim says, hey Captain, strange question here. Will Thrustmaster no longer sell the add-on separately, or do I now have to purchase the TCA Captain Pack? I would be very surprised. I don't know for sure. I haven't heard anything from Thrustmaster on that, but I would be very surprised if you can't still buy the add-on pack. Yeah. Because that would seem silly. Because they sell the FO, the First Officer pack, so why would you not buy the First Officer pack and then later save up a bit more and get the add-on? I'm not sure if you'd need to... I'm not sure why they would just sell the Captain's pack. So hopefully not. But I haven't got any official news on that, I'm afraid. But thanks so much. That's very kind, Parasim, for the £4.49 super chat. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming along today. But yeah, I would be surprised. Shriek 44, I have not yet fiddled with the side stick either. No, it's terrible. I have these periods of time where I'm working on the channel, and I end up jumping into videos and streams and not getting around to all the bits, the ancillary stuff, the extra bits that I should be doing. So I must try that fix. I was early today looking for it, and I got distracted loading up the flight plan and stuff for this, so I do apologise. So not yet. It seems to be fine in X-Plane. It doesn't seem to affect it too much. But there we go. Tom Corwin, good to see you. Tom says, buying the add-on pack has been nearly impossible up to this point. Yeah, there has been a bit of a shortage. I do know that. It was really hard for me to get hold of it. Bronda, thank you very much. Glad you enjoy it. Thanks for coming. Yeah, so Schwig, so Trig's talking about, I have the Thrustmaster TCA First Officer's side stick. Or, it's now the same as the Captain's Pack side stick. And the twist axes, a few people I think, but certainly I have had an issue where it's glitching a bit and inputting sort of just twitching too much, suddenly putting in quite large inputs just when you touch it. But sometimes it's not as bad as others. This plane is sailed on 25th of October, so very soon, Henry Aviation. Skylar says, now that's a view that will never get old. The A350 may have curved winglets, but this is the kind of view you grew up with. Yeah, exactly. The sort of, this is like the 747 style winglet. I do think the 350's winglets are the nicest out there. I think that it looks a really nice curve, really, really nice. Do you use the stick on your left hand, says Leon? I've got it currently set up in the right hand, my actual stick. But I also have, as you would have seen, the Winwing A3XX grip and that one is obviously a left-hand grip. So I'm going to set that one up soon, which should be good fun. Simon said the same issue. Yeah. Rip has disabled the twist on the TCA, so it seems like quite a common one. Winglets on the 330 NEO are really cool, says Lauren V. Good to see you, Lauren V. Thanks for coming and moderating. I wasn't so impressed with the 330 NEO. I must say I was a bit less impressed with them. I thought 350. I think the 350 wins in my eyes, but I appreciate that is completely subjective. And Boeing, of course, have done away with winglets. They've swapped over to sort of blended wing style for their ultra long hauls.
EC74 Alpha Juliet leaving my airspace. Monitor Unicom 122.8. Bye bye.
Kai says the good thing is that in the winter you don't need your radiator on because your PC acts like it. Multiple use. Yeah, that is very true. Hi to Rome. Thanks for coming. Martin Scarf, good to see you. Martin says, hi, A320 Sim Pilot. Question. During cruise at night, do you ever turn on dome light or is it usually off? Thanks for all the great streams. You're very welcome, Martin. Thanks for coming along. At night, dome light often goes on. Yeah. Unless there's a reason not to have it on. If you're trying to eat or anything, it gets a bit tedious doing it in pitch black. And then we turn it off. Usually, when we start the descent, we'll turn it off. It's usually only set to dim. No one turns it to bright in the cruise at night. Yeah. If you're doing a really short flight, though, you might just leave it off the whole time just to let your eyes adjust. So, yeah, a few people talking about that twist axis. I'm going to spend a bit more time and investigate that a bit more. Yeah. Skylar loves the 350 winglets, but it does get in the way of branding for certain airlines. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Addy, the current giveaway has ended, I'm afraid. There was a TCA Captain's Pack giveaway, but that is over. So the results, I'm going to sort that out soon. Simon says, I've experienced it not only on the twist, but with the slider below. Oh, interesting. I haven't had that. But I don't use that slider anymore because I've got the add-on pack for the spoilers. Miku likes the 787 wingtip the best. Yeah, it is a nice design, that. Then Janos says, can a 330 pilot easily train for 350? Yes. They can actually fly both at the same time. I think it's the same type rating. Oh no, hold on, that's the 380. But I think a 330 it will be a short course, certainly. Sort of sad how much of the sim long haul interest lies in the 40, 50, 80 when only the 50 is really used nowadays, and for the most part people mostly fly the 30 in real life. I wish there was a good Sim 30 Neo. So there is a 330 Neo for Microsoft Flight Simulator now, but I haven't used it, but it looks pretty good. But I don't know if any of you have used it. And here's A330 versus A350 as a YouTube channel. Matteo, good to see you. Matteo says, unfortunately at work and I cannot stay, but just wanted to pop my head and say hi to everyone at 320 Sim Pilot. Thanks for coming, Matteo. Thanks for saying hello. I hope work's treating you well today. Great to see you here. Let's check in on the flight deck. Let's make sure things are actually going well. .350 and 380 have separate type ratings, but conversion process is very short. Yes. Okay. Thanks, Miku. Yeah. Yeah. I know the 350 and 380 are the closest to. But let's face it, most Airbuses are pretty close.
France 416, bonjour, squawk 5645. Squawk 5645. 5 for Air France 416.
Air France 416 identified, proceed direct Atlen.
Direct Atlan for Air France 416 and if possible level 340.
Air France 416.
Sorry about that, everyone. Just sorting something out. Right, where were we?
Now, you can have 350, but you need not.
Just going back to the chat slightly.
Will be flying south.
Neil says, hope this plane will take me on more long distance flights from Monday. Yeah, that's it. I'm sure it will.
30 or climb to flight level 350 as you like.
Mikey says, the A330 NEO on Microsoft Flight Simulator has a few handling issues, mostly with the rudder, but looks promising. Yeah, it does look promising, but I haven't tried it out, so that's interesting. Yeah, I do want to give that a go at some point.
416 copy, so climb flight level
I think 350 to 380 and vice versa. It's a 3-day course, says Lauren V. Thank you. That's interesting. Yeah, pretty short, which will make sense. Buki Malice, good to see you. Buki says, what do you think of the news that ANA will let their 380 pilot also fly 320? Yeah, I don't know what I think, really. I mean, it's flying heavy aircraft and short haul aircraft at the same time has been done for a long time. Pilots who fly the 330 have also flown the 320. That is obviously quite a difference, but at the same time they are both Airbuses. So, yeah, I suppose we'll wait and see what happens. But I don't have an issue with it instinctively, because obviously you're not going to do that in the same day. It's not like you'll fly the 320 and then the 380 for a sector. Well, I'd hope not. If it's a case of you fly the 320 and then go on, a day later to fly the 380, then that I could see that. Can you cut out one engine just for fun? If I cut out an engine here, I'm assuming we would have to descend. I'm not certain on that because we are very light, but I don't know what the single engine ceiling is. So we'd have to cut out an engine and then we'd have to relight it, and we may not be able to relight it up here. I don't have the performance graphs with me, so I might not do that until a bit later in the flight. That's an interesting idea.
650 speedbird 6 Alpha. Breast control Air France 416 heavy, level 350, direct 8 minutes.
Air France 416 copy. Speedbird 62 Alpha identified, direct Akiki.
Direct Akiki, speedbird 6 Alpha. Breast control, good afternoon, Gen X59 Echo Delta, flight level 380.
Gen X59 Echo Delta, bonsoir, squawk 5651.
Squawk 5651, Gen X59 Echo Delta, bonsoir. 43, review, Echo, 383, bound Admiral.
Sorry about that, everyone. Right, I'm just going to go back through the chat again. I do apologise. Certified Dynamite says, is it a challenge for pilots to learn how to fly with either left or right hand on the side stick? I tried to invert my joystick for left hand once and I just couldn't fly precisely. Yeah, it's a bit of a getting used to period, but most pilots, or all pilots, will start flying with the left hand and then move to the right hand when they get into an airliner for the first time, and then back to the left hand. So they'll get used to it, but it does take a bit of a challenge. Ralph, good to see you. Ralph says, I retired yesterday, so hoping to catch the live streams more often. Excellent, Ralph. Thanks for coming along. I hope you have a very enjoyable retirement. Excellent. Mike says, did you get a chance to take a look at my SAS livery for the A340? Mostly because I like feedback for improvements. Sorry, Mike, I haven't yet had the chance. I do apologise, but I did see the post. But yeah, I will try to get around to it at some point. But thanks very much. Matt says, the 787 wings are crazy with all that flex. Almost looks like they want to start flapping. Yeah, they do bend up a lot. Yeah. I don't fully understand how efficient that is, but I'm sure they know what they're doing with it. Because these ones don't bend too much. You can adjust the flex on this airplane. Domino says you can mod the twist axis with a Hall effect sensor if you're any good at soldering. No issue or chance of wear. I'm not very good at. Well, I probably won't be doing that. But yeah, that does sound like a serious project. But those are good sensors. Raphael says, I've tried out the 330 NEO, but it's clearly on early stages. It's an adapted version of an older 3.2 NX build. It's good, but still some handling issues and unrealistic efficiency. Okay, interesting. A340 looks like 707, says Qantas Airline 737. Yeah, interesting point. Yeah, it's got that 4-engine single level fuselage feel. Probably one of the reasons why it didn't do very well. Chris Drew says, would you be able to demo a gravity gear extension for one of your approaches? Gear doors should remain open and no nose or steering. Yeah, how do you do that? Is that just putting off that cover? Because in the 320, the gear extension, gravity gear is down here. It's not there. It's down here. So you can actually remove the cover. Is it just a handle? You just pull it? It seems very straightforward. Let's close that though. Lauren V says, ANA plan to use the A380s on routes to Hawaii less than 8 hours. With only 3 in their fleet, it might not actually be managed as part of their long-haul fleet. There you go. That would be why perhaps they don't want to have pilots just on one airplane if they've got so few of them. Raptros Gaming says, going on a 1-hour trial lesson in a few weeks in a real aircraft. Super excited. You're no small part in reigniting my passion for flight sim and aviation in general. That's great, Raptros Gaming. Thanks so much for saying so. Enjoy that flight. Brilliant. Absolutely love those trial lessons, and the first flights in a real aircraft are just so much fun. So enjoy that. Thanks for coming along, and I'm glad the videos have helped you. Leon says, I'm now asking a real pilot, can I become a pilot despite my bad grades? It was my childhood dream and it's still my dream. So Leon, what you need to do is just look up the flight schools around and the airline cadet schemes and see what they require. Because the grades won't matter when you're in, it's just about whether there's a requirement for what you need to get into the course. So it would just depend which part of the world you're in and what they require where you are. You don't need amazing grades, you don't need to be an A-star student to become a pilot, no way. But it depends on things that you apply for, and it would depend, they'll all have different requirements. So just keep an eye on those, and that's just work to make sure that you meet that requirement, really. Thanks, Phil. Yeah, everything is okay. Just a couple of things going on here. No worries, Ralph. And thanks, Mike. Denied says, trying to sub on Twitch and there isn't a sub button. Any ideas? So we aren't able to have subs on Twitch at the moment. We're not, is it partner, affiliate? I can't remember. The first level, we hadn't reached the requirements yet. I think we might have now. Let me have a look. I've got the Twitch app. I wish I knew how it worked. They usually email me after a stream and tell me that I'm not eligible. But maybe we are now. So I'll have to have a look. But anyway, at the moment you can't subscribe on Twitch. But we may turn that on. If we do, so it's going to get to a point where if we turn on subscriptions on Twitch, then I won't be able to stream on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. So that would be where the Twitch streams would have to turn into something different. I.e., that's where, I mean, we've already done it before, where we do our different sort of streams, our military airplanes and our little VFR flights, things like that. And we'll keep the main flights like this on YouTube. Skyler would like an island hopping stream. Yeah, we have done that before. But people tend to... The ones we've done, they're good fun in group flights. So more likely to do it as a group flight in Microsoft Flight Simulator, to be honest. We've done multi-sector days in streams, but they don't seem to flow particularly well, which is why I don't do them so much anymore. Yeah, because of course you end up just repeating the same thing in the same airplane. So we haven't done those for a little while. How usually real pilots use second flight plans this summer? So usually in a stage like this, it's just the same as the active. And if we have any trouble, I would modify the active. I find that the easiest, but that's preference. You could load in alternate routes. So for example, if we were flying a long way from any airport, so we're just over the Bay of Biscay. But if we wanted to have more options, i.e. there's remote airfields that we need to get to, you might load in the route to get there so it's ready, so you could immediately do it. Thing is, remember, we don't do things immediately usually in aviation, especially commercial aviation. We try and take a considered approach. So if there's not time to even enter in the flight plan, that's very unusual. I'd be very surprised. So to be honest with you, at this stage of flight, not much. But like I say, maybe on long haul. Maybe you could use it to work out times, to alternate, things like that. Hello, Enrico Bianchi. Good to see you. I have not heard about a Flight Factor 787. Not heard anything, I'm afraid. Mike says, just landed 350-900 at PHNL in the sim. I'm surprised an A380 would fit. Yeah, there you go. Surprising what they can fit into, but they got a lot of brakes. Matthew Presley, good to see you. Thanks for coming along. Alfonso says, average 250 watching your YouTube feed and about 70 here on Twitch. So it's nice to see that so many are finding the fun and joy of flight sims. Pleased for you, obviously, but also helps me to stop feeling like a total nerd. No, absolutely. There's a huge flight sim community, and it's great because this wasn't a thing when I was starting out in flight sim, and I'm sure all of you. It wasn't the same level of community. There were the forums, though, as the forums is where you got all the information and the freeware. No worries, Leon. Thanks for coming along. Leliano says, can ATC send you direct to a waypoint not on your route? They can. If they do, you do it. But if it's not on our route, we'd usually check for them. That's definitely where they want us to go, because sometimes they get that wrong. And if they do want us to go there, then we would just ask for where they want us to go afterwards. And hopefully that next waypoint will be somewhere on our flight plan, and then we can sequence it properly. Johan says, I just hope I can become a pilot despite having a mild form of colour blindness. Fingers crossed, yep. And Cockle says it's affiliates was the level I'm looking for in Twitch, exactly. Any new merch this film? Was there any merch people would like? That's the question, I suppose. Mike's Basement says, one of the things I really like about the A350 compared to the A320 and the A340 is you can enable more than one icon on the MFD. Yes, that is nice. Sadly with this we just get stuck. We have to just press one. That's all we get. So obviously in the cruise, airport makes the most sense. Dusty Looper says, subs give Jeff Bezos more money, use PayPal. There you go. Lauren V says, I don't think the Twitch partnership rules requires exclusivity anymore. Is that true? That would be good if it didn't. Aviation 19 would like us to fly the 757 again. Okay, yeah, I've been thinking about that. I did see a few screenshots of the 757. That's a flight factor of 7.5. Yeah, I saw some screenshots, and I was definitely tempted to hop back in the 7.5. We just had so much going on, as you guys know, with the Hawk and this, and the hardware we've had on the channel as well. It's amazing how much time it takes up. Right. John Armstrong says, why does aviation use nautical miles instead of just plain miles and miles per hour? Well, a nautical mile is 1 degree of latitude, so I suppose it comes from that. You know, the fact we use coordinates and so on. So it does make sense, but I understand it's a bit different. Also, the scale, you know, nautical miles are a bigger scale than statute miles, so perhaps that works better for the big distances we cover. Certainly better than kilometres. But otherwise, I don't have a definite answer for you. A350 Captain says, at A320 Sim Pilot, do you think in their current states is Microsoft Flight Simulator or X-Plane the better sim? Personally, I like both, but may prefer Microsoft Flight Simulator once the payway aircraft arrive. Yeah, I like both. You know, because Microsoft Flight Simulator's here. We've had it for a year. I've got payway aircraft for it, and yet we're still here, still using the ToLiss in X-Plane. So I just enjoy both. Yeah, definitely. Likewise, I'm sure there's Microsoft Flight Simulator users who still use P3D, if that was their previous sim. Yeah, what merch? Because we can make different merch items. At the moment, we have a whole host. Mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, stickers. But I know there's other things like caps, and I think there's bottles now. So I might look into adding a few, because I think they've added some to the Teespring store. Or it's called Spring now, isn't it? They removed T to stop it being just about t-shirts. I'm guessing anyway. Alpha Bravo says, what was the main reason you started making videos? A bit off topic. No, it's no problem. Yeah, well, when aviation shut down early 2020, I found myself at home and without anything else to do, and obviously a little bit worried, and it's something I'd always thought about doing, and now I had the time, and I thought it'd be a nice sort of thing to do. So I put up the first video, which was a walk around in the ToLiss. ToLiss was quite a new add-on, so I got that and X-Plane, and I just had a go at making a video just to see if anyone was interested, and a few people were. So I kept going, and we just grew from there. It's crazy, really, and it was really not what I expected. It was great. It was great fun, and that's why I kept going with it, because I really enjoyed it. There was a bit of chat. And once we did our first live stream, then that was great fun as well. And then we got the Discord server, and it became this little community that was such fun to be a part of. And that's what's kept me going. Because yeah, if it was just me on my own making videos and sticking them up on YouTube, then I don't think I'd still be doing it. But with the streams and the Discord and everything else, then it's been really fun, because there's a bit of a community and names recognise each other and everyone chats, and yeah, I think it's good fun. But why I started was, start of lockdown, something I'd always thought about doing. I've always used flight simulators, and I wanted to give it a go. Also, I used to struggle with the Airbus when I first tried it out in a flight simulator. I didn't really understand it, so I wanted to make some videos to hopefully clear it up for anyone else trying to use it, because by that point I'd flown it for a few years. I thought it'd be good bit of fun. It might help a few people who are slightly confused by it, you know, because I couldn't even turn on the engines when I got it first. I had no idea what I was doing. I could turn on the 7.3, but I couldn't turn on the 320. Then Anos says, how do you know how a waypoint is spelled? Well, if it's not on my flight plan and air traffic have said it and I don't know it already, then I will ask them how to spell it. Yeah, that's quite common. So if you're not sure, just ask air traffic. Carl Cruz, hello. Carl says, hi Captain, what headset and mic do you use for streaming? Great question. I have Hyper, is it Hyper? I forgot the name of the brand. It's called like the Cloud something. HyperX? HyperX. HyperX by Kingston. And it's red. It's a gaming headset I've had for years, and it's great. It's so good. It does have a microphone, which is what I used to use, and it also comes with a USB sort of sound card. Now I don't use the microphone now. I've swapped to external proper microphone, which is the Razer Siren X, which I really like. Nice and small, but really good quality. But I did have to buy a desk arm for it and a sort of cover for it as well. It doesn't come with either of those, and if you try and put it on your desk, you just get a whole load of vibrations and tapping from the keyboard and so on. And even now you guys can hear my keyboard, but my keyboard's ridiculous, way too loud. It was the worst choice for simming and streaming. Skyler says, what about an itinerary for multiple flights? That way a change of aircraft would be in the plan. How do you mean, Skyler? Sorry, I'm slightly confused. The Burko Flyer says, hi, great stream as always. Will ToLiss correct the main gate animation? It doesn't flatten until nozzle makes contact. Oh, well, have a look at that. I don't know, I'm afraid. Stav, yeah, we are indeed back in the 340. I'm enjoying it a lot. Absolutely love it. Stu says, sorry, a bit late. I was expecting Marrakesh Express to be playing as background music. No, sorry, yeah, we haven't got any background music. Matthew says, need a 320 SIM pilot sticker to slap on the suitcase. That would be excellent. Yeah, well, they are available in the store, Matthew. You can, so there's the sticker sets. You can actually, you can cut them up into different stickers. Oh, I've missed a call. Apologies, Virgin 292.
Virgin 292, contact Madrid 133.75. Bye-bye.
13375, Virgin 292. Merci, au revoir. Our controller's doing a great job covering a large area. Madrid, Virgin 292, flight level 390 to Boulder. Just going to up across the next. Let's go a bit faster. What do I have to do to convince it to go to decimal 82? I might feed that back. I would expect that to have risen by now. We're going to go a little bit faster as we have the option. Yeah, there we go. I think 8.4 will be enough. We did overspeed on my last stream, so it would be a bit silly to do that again. There we go, 17.5. That is burning a bit of extra fuel. Wow, 400 kilos per decimal. That's incredible. That's a serious extra burn. Yeah, 400 kilos. Amazing. Well, we wouldn't do that in real life. Let me just check the frequency. Oh, what have I done there? 13375. Madrid, hello, Virgin 292.
Virgin 292, good evening. Identified plane level 390. That's fine.
That's fine, thanks, Virgin 292. There we go, all good. We're with Madrid. So we're going to leave our...
Speedbird 26 Delta, flight level 410 inbound to Boulder. Speedbird 26 Delta, good evening. Identified flight level 410, that's fine.
Ah.
Flight level 410, Speedbird 26 Delta.
So that Speedbird 26 Delta sounds like a colleague. So let's figure out... They must be in a 777 then. It did look like a 777. They're definitely not in a 320 up at 410. So maybe we're going to see if we can break our way. I'm imagining the 777's a bit... Is it quicker or similar? Could be quicker. This could be a race I don't want to get into. Mark's Basement says, isn't it also, talking about nautical miles here, isn't it also because of the much of the lingo is used in sailing, spilled over to aviation? Also one of the reasons that the PIC sits on the right side. The PIC might sit on the left side, but I do know that the airline pilot uniform comes from Pan Am, who took it, they called their aircraft as boats, and they took the uniform of ship's captains, and that's where it comes from. So Pan Am created the current airline uniform that we know today. Aaron is enjoying the 340, indeed. Herbert Daniel says, love this aircraft, one of the best climb performances ever. Only A300 and A310 is probably better. There you go, very good. Richard V. Oh, sorry, I'm so far behind in the chat. I am sorry now. This is pretty bad. Richard V says, I think there were about 15 of us in the first live stream. How times have changed. Yeah, I think there were. Yeah, 15. Yeah, I remember that well. Richard V's been here right from the start, from I think the very first video. Yeah. Thanks, Richard P. Richard P says the pandemic has been rubbish for many, including those in the aviation industry. But goodness, what a boon it has been for flight sim enthusiasts with pilots like yourself sharing your expertise. Yeah, glad it's been great fun. I've enjoyed it, and it's something I wouldn't have done otherwise. AP Chibi says hello. You're back. Thanks for coming back. During real flights, so my preferred headset. I use this. I use this even on the Dash 8, which is obviously a noisy turboprop, Bose A20. Johan says, I didn't know how to turn on the engines. The one thing you don't want to hit an A320 pilot say. Navy Land Sub, I went to Twitch. When did we start streaming on Twitch? A couple of months ago. Yeah, but we're on both. We're on YouTube at the same time. Yeah, Alphanta, I do get the water tiles. Yeah, I can't stop it. And it looks worse on this sort of lighter blue tile that I use. I have changed the texture. This is slightly more tropical blue. AB Chibi says, what monitor do you use? I've got a Dell 32-inch monitor. Fly to Aurora. This is the default clouds in XP11. Yeah, so I use a Dell 32-inch. It's a VA, for those of you who know monitors. I have a second monitor, which is a 23-inch HP. So it's just an old Pavilion monitor. Or 24-inch, but it's 1080p. My main monitor is 1440p, which is why my videos are all done at 1440p. That's why I upgraded the monitor to get a slightly better resolution for the videos. It is curved very slightly. Very slightly. I like it. I really like the VA panel. I think it's really nice. I thought I'd prefer IPS, but I actually think the VA is slightly nicer. It also runs up to something crazy like 160 hertz. Obviously, in flight sims, that really doesn't matter. That was just a side effect of the one I found. Checkpoint's taking a sneak peek from the grocery store. Excellent. Be home soon. Drive safe. Skyler says, so basically at the start of the stream we could decide on a departure and destination. Afterwards we'd Google the connecting flights that connect those two locations, check the aircraft type and go. I see. There's an idea, Skyler. I'll never think about it. The only problem is time. It takes me sometimes an hour to get in the air, and that's when I've already come up with the flight plan. So I'd be slightly anxious of the timings. It's an A350, says Stephen Malcolm. I'm right behind you, A350-900. Thanks, Stephen. Thanks for flying along. Excellent. So the 350s, we're going to see if we can outpace it. Died with like a plush Airbus stick with Manta Brownie. Very good. Mike says left side. So yeah, captain must be left side of boats. Makes sense. Matthew Presley says, personally I hate the suit. Wish we could just wear company branded polos. Would be so much better. That would be fun. That would be fun. It's a long old flight, King Max. Yeah, we've got a way to go yet. We are... Well, it's 13:17, 14. So we got about an hour. Not too bad, actually. An hour and 40 to go. Still, long enough. So how much time is that? 17.5. Let's put it on this one. 14:56.
Skyways 475, contact breast control, 125.50. Good day. 125.50, Skyways 475.
4 minutes for 600 kilos. So, yeah, it's saving us 4 minutes. But we're burning extra 600 kilos. That definitely is not a good trade-off. It shows you how thirsty this airplane is. Ah, Matthew Presley's using the Bose Pro flight. Yeah, I have seen that. I have not tried it, so it sounds like it's good. Okay, interesting, Matthew. Maybe Dan says watching on YouTube and Twitch. Didn't know you were on Twitch. Yeah, relatively recent. Relatively recent. Nice West says, hello, work done for Airbus, time to watch other people fly in the Airbus, excellent. Mike's Basement says, also I tried flying with my son's Oculus Rift S, I can certainly understand why professional simulators are looking in that direction, it's so cool. Yeah, so I have the Oculus Rift S, I love it, love it, love it. I don't use it in X-Plane ever, because I haven't quite worked out how to set it up properly, but I use it for DCS, love it in DCS, I use it in Microsoft Flight Simulator, love it for that as well. Yeah, I'm a big VR fan, but just not always, not always. Flight Sim Love, thanks for following. And Tracy Beaker, thanks for subscribing. And I should have said, X10 thanks for the follow. Gung Ho Bob, thanks for the follow. I do apologise. I've had to adjust the audio and I didn't quite hear the alerts. Johan would like the milk run. Yes, I need to go back to Australia. Yeah, it's been a while. Oh, well, Johan would like it through Africa or something. There you go. Yeah, another one. See Malcolm's Decimal 84 with a low cost and X. Yeah, I'm not sure about the cost and exits. Demon says, with VR being available at home, the only thing that will separate professional from entertainment will be motion and an instructor. Mr. Martin Torres says, joining you during my lunch, always a pleasure. Thanks, Mr. Martin. Thanks for coming along. Sky says, I'm surprised there aren't many airlines sponsored by clothing brands. I can't even imagine what Gucci would come up with for pilot and attendant uniforms. The only thing with that would be nobody sees the pilots except in the terminal for 3 seconds. Except, you know, we depends on the situation, but you will try and say goodbye to passengers. But yeah, but the cabin crew certainly. The only problem would be you have to design the. It's got to be so practical and also fireproof and everything else that I can imagine it's not that easy to design a stylish uniform for an airline crew. Because there's just so many constraints. Fashion is very low down on the list of things it has to do. So Mike says the flight factor A350-900 burns around 100 to 110 kilograms a minute. 600 kilos in 4 minutes. Wow, yeah, it is crazy the extra burn here. Can you see a colleague flying above you? Don't know how far away they are. It seems pretty close. So, it can often look close, but then it's not. Tom Corwin says, I'm still using David Clark's. I may get Bose if these ever need to be replaced. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm a big fan of the Bose headsets. I must try the Pro Flight. They are, look at that. So they're, if we go to nav.
Giant 706, standby. I will call you shortly. Break. Hispania 423 Charlie, muy buenas tardes. Por favor, respondan 7010.
They're not even showing up on that page. Normally you'd be able to see them just behind you. Let's zoom out a bit. There are plenty. 20 miles behind us. It's further than you realise. We might be able to see them, but I doubt it. I think that's outside the loading range. Mike says, the best thing is augmented reality, where you sit in a real sim cockpit with a good cam on and the VR headset fills out the sky. Yeah, that would be good, yeah.
ready to copy clearance?
Chap, thanks for the follow. Have I mentioned?
Giant 706, weather information, QNH 1016, temperature 27 degrees, dew point 7, cleared to shipple asphalt off runway 27 via Hinojosa 4 Golf departure. Initial altitude...
Alphancha says, I'm flipping between here and YouTube for chat, but I'm not talking to an audience and flying the airplane at the same time, so don't feel bad for missing any chat. Thanks, Alpha. Yeah, no, it can get difficult. Mike says, in general, I just plug the VR headset and enable VR in X-Plane. Yeah, it's the control in X-Plane. How do you click things in the cockpit? Because I couldn't get my mouse to work, but maybe I'm just doing it wrong. Do you have to use the Oculus controllers? In Microsoft Flight Simulator, I just use the mouse, which does work for me. Eternal, thanks for the follow. Booty2, good to see you. It was indeed an early start. Booty says, means I have some useful evening viewing to catch up. Brilliant. Excellent, Booty. Good to see you. Thanks for coming along. Yeah, I mean, I say the uniforms must be fireproof. They're not like fireproof suits. They're nothing special, but I just mean they can't be any. They have to be pretty standard materials. They're not. Yeah, they're not. They're not F1 race suits.
Transavia 6119er, descent flight level 70. Descent flight level 70, 6119er. Scandinavian 2985, Dussel 3 Quebec arrival for runway 30.
Roger, Dussel 3 Quebec for 30, and we're going to request a descent now, please, sir.
Scandinavian 2985, descent flight level 100.
Down to 100 for Scandinavian 2985.
There you go. Made the biggest chunk of the flight already. We're heading down here, just past Casablanca. So when we first started the channel, I did streams where we actually would connect the flights. I don't do that so much these days. Although we do have an airplane sitting over here somewhere, don't we? Is it up here or here that we flew from the Azores? So we have done that. So I need to go and pick that one up. But so there's about 1 or 2 airplanes sitting out there that we do tie them up. But a lot of my streams now are pretty random. I mean, this one tied up by coincidence. But yeah, so we're going to fly down just through here, down to Marrakesh. There it is. That's the last bit of our route to go. Tail tank transferred. So has it... That's all we got. 100 kilos in the tail tank now. Should have looked at it earlier when it was sending the fuel back and forward. Someone said, did the seatbelt signs show up in the cabin? Let's have a look. So seatbelts and no smoking. There you go. It works. You should all be very happy with that because I didn't think that would work. But there it is. The smoking signs are connected to the light. Sorry, the seatbelt signs. That's brilliant. That's the sort of thing flight simmers will pick up on. I didn't realise that. I didn't realise that. We can't do fuel dump in the A320, I'm afraid. Only in the 340. Wide Rumble says, is it EasyJet who have their uniforms made from recycled plastic or something? I've heard about different initiatives like that. I think we'll see more of that sort of thing. Denied 35k, thanks so much for your $5 tip. Really appreciate it. Sorry if I've missed it. Denied says, I've been enjoying your streams and videos for a year now. You're always very humble and honest and open with the community. You make it a great journey, Captain One Day. Thanks so much, Denied 35k. That's really kind of you. Thanks so much for the $5 and thanks for those incredibly kind words. Really appreciate it. Yeah, that's just very kind. Thanks, and thanks for watching the videos for a year. That's a lot of hours of Flight Simulator. So really appreciate it. And thanks for the donation and kind words. Very, very generous of you. I don't know what to say to that. Johan says, is it a problem when ATC and flight speak in their native language on comms for situational awareness? Yeah. It definitely reduces the situational awareness of other aircraft around, no doubt. Thanks, Neighbour Land Sub, for hosting us. Appreciate it. Here's the entry into Portugal. Jonathan says, can the A320 just not hold enough fuel for that to be a problem very often? Exactly. The A320's takeoff weight and landing weight are close enough that it's not impossible to
Giant 706, I request impatient transfer.
it's not impossible just to burn the fuel naturally, so you can put the gear down or whatever. And even then, if you do land overweight, it's not so overweight that it's a big issue. The problem is in this airplane, we could land, if we had an extra 100 tons of fuel on board, or more weight, we could easily, yeah, it's just very easy to be overweight because these airplanes can take off at such massive weights. So, yeah, that's the main reason.
Easy 86 Papa, contact Lisbon Control 2550, good day.
M. Stark says, hi, and good day from Rio de Janeiro. Thanks for all the great videos. You're very welcome. Thanks for coming along and thanks for saying so. What the pilots who are smokers on long-haul flights do to survive not having a smoke? I really don't know. I'm afraid. I can't help with that one. I don't fly long-haul and I don't smoke, so I don't know. Yeah, it can't be fun. There must be a way around it. I'm sure they get used to it. Super, good to see you. Thanks for coming along. Twitch and YouTube. Excellent. And in South Africa, fly the A340 very proudly. Excellent. Eric says, with your experience to now, do you think the A340 from ToLiss is study level? It's the same level as their 321 and their 319. So however you would class those, it's the same. It's got all the systems. It's got the right system. It's not just a. They haven't just taken the 321 and just put a 340 visual model on it. It is the 340. We have the fuel systems. We have the hydraulic systems, all correct and present. Ram air turbine, electrical pumps. You know, it's all here. It's great. So, if you would consider the ToLiss 321 or 319 study level, then this is the same. Yeah. In my opinion. Does this have SimBrief support? Oh, Peter, I've never used SimBrief direct integration with ToLiss, so I don't know. Sorry, I should have looked that one up. Fuji2 says, from what little I know about the 340, the realism looks to be awesome. Yeah, it's very good. It does have, I don't know if I mentioned it last time, the 340-600 obviously is a huge, they're very nervous of tail strike risks. So this does have all the systems, as we saw on Takeoff, it set the trim for us. I didn't have to do that, as you'd expect in the real aircraft. It does the trim tanks, which is just great, although it's put 100 kilos back there. I think there was more earlier to adjust the CG. It's just really clever. Hence, you can see the CG here. It seems to want to keep it about 26.6. But it does even have a tail strike sensor, so you'll get tail strike on the ECAM. Ask me how I know. Checkpoint's just going to listen in a bit and make some food. So hungry. Yeah, I'm getting hungry now, I must admit. Skeeter says, what are the chances a streamer will replace the outer engine textures with transparent files, only use the inner engines that fly an A330 route with this aircraft? Who knows? That does sound like a lot of work. And also, this is better than the 330 anyway, let's face it. David Landon Sub says, been enjoying your video since I first started trying to learn the Airbus and Microsoft Flight Simulator. Quickly realised XP11 had a better Airbus and took 2 or 2 tours. Excellent. Oh, it's amazing how many people went that way. I didn't expect that. I thought we would mostly have separate audience, but we've had quite a few people move to X-Plane from Microsoft Flight Simulator and sort of have both. Yeah, very interesting. The Avitab EFB can access pre-created SimBrief flight plans. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so I've got them loaded in here as a file. But whether there's a way to put 12555. Version 292, good day. Lisbon Control, good evening. Version 292, flight level 390 to Batax.
Virgin 292, identified, confirm flight level request.
Ooh, it's giving us the option. Version 292, requesting flight level 410.
Virgin 292, closure climb, flight level 410.
Thank you, climb flight level 410, version 292. Why am I doing that? I just want to get up and beat our friend. If he's getting a better true airspeed up there, I want to go up there. Thrust come back and climb. We go out blue 410. Yeah, so very nice controllers online today. We've had good coverage. I suspect we won't have coverage when we get to landing, but there we go. So yeah, so this what was I saying? I've totally forgotten. Lovis, I'm not doing cross the pond, sadly. If I was, I'd definitely be using this. Although I know the 321 obviously could also be used. Peter says, I'm too lazy to load in a flight plan manually. Yeah, I'm too lazy to work out how to do it properly. Oh, that didn't seem to help our time much. Saved us a bit of fuel though. Still 14.59. It's just nice to go up there. Still can't see our colleague. I love that there's actual people sitting there controlling us and we're sitting here with our colleague behind. It's just it's such a good feeling. It's so much fun.
Lisbon Control, speed button 26 Delta, flight over 410 inbound, Batax.
I quite like. Let's do this. Yeah, 1,000 feet to go. Let's go into the rear cabin. Yeah, there's two seats at the side. It's great. Let's get a bit of a rear wing view. Do I prefer that? Not sure. Good view of the engine, but a bit of a distorted view of the wing. I think we'll stick with that one. And of course, this is the seat we want to be in. The Isaac says, whilst I've got my hands full with the 742 at the moment, the A340 looks very tempting. How does it compare with the other ToLiss aircraft in terms of performance? Very similar performance for me. I don't notice any difference. Ooh, we're reaching the edge of the performance now then. Knockout star. To be fair, we're climbing at a cruise speed up at 410. It's just got unlimited performance really, doesn't it, for what it's doing. And there's our cruise. Aviation Forever, good to see you again. We're doing very well. Richard V says the best way, this is in terms of getting a flight plan into the ToLiss, save an FMS file from SimBrief, place it into X-Plane Output FMS Plans folder, then you can load it as a company route. There you go. That makes sense. Stefan, thanks for subscribing. I missed that. And Stefan Awful Pilot, thanks for following on Twitch. Emma Bentley, good to see you. I do apologise. I'm running way behind on the chat. We are really enjoying the livery. Thank you so much for coming along. Thanks for your work on. I mean, you've done so many classic liveries. I've used so many of your 90s airline liveries over the past year on X-Plane. So thanks for coming along. And yeah, great work as ever on the livery. It's beautiful. We've been really enjoying it. It was a livery that had to be done, didn't it? We all. This is the plane that everyone had in their minds. Oh, I can't believe I missed Emma Bentley on chat. Emma Bentley's in the descent. Emma Bentley, for those of you who don't know, is famous for all these excellent liveries we've had, and on a whole range of aircraft. Oh yeah, we had a whole new world of excuses for Tailstrike 322. Absolutely. Caffeine says, do you think you'll be returning to Canada soon? Really enjoyed the long haul across the Atlantic. Greetings from St. John's, Newfoundland. Yeah, I've got to do Australia, Canada and America. I've got three big areas we need to do some more flying in, most certainly. Yeah, it was good for the Portuguese controller to ask Lauren V. Good, yeah, absolutely. No, we don't watch Netflix during long flights, not on short haul anyway. Mike's Basement says, here's a challenge. Make a video that can teach me how to flare properly. I either tend to float or just simply crash. Yeah, it's I've thought about that. I have done a few landing tutorials, but it's so hard because there's too many variables with the joystick you use and the setup and everything else and the sensitivity. It's really hard. Of course, it's not about, it shouldn't really be about that. It's about what the airplane does. So we're looking to see how the airplane reacts. So if I can think of a clear way to present that, it's easier in the real aircraft, of course, because you've got 3D vision and everything else that makes life a lot easier. 40BC, thanks for following. And Miguel. And Ray, thanks for subscribing. Emma Bentley says, thank you very much. Behind you in the A340-600 right now into Madrid. Expect Iberia tomorrow. Excellent. Looking forward to Iberia. And then... sorry, say again for version 292? Direct to Amstel. Thank you, version 292. Alright, we can do that. Direct to Amstel. Amstel nav. I know Emma mostly does real liveries, but if you feel like putting JMC, Virgin Sun, Air 2000, first choice, any of those onto a 340, we'll definitely be flying it on the channel. We've put them onto about every airplane we can manage, but I'm sure you're far too busy with the current or actual liveries that have happened for that. But yeah, I'm sure we'll be trying on over at our Discord to do one of those. We even got the Air 2000 Tapestry livery onto the DC-6. Paddy did a fantastic job of that. Oh no, Emma's already got a million requests. Cathay, Finnair. I think I saw, Johnny, that Finnair's been done already. Possibly. So Emma's heading into Madrid. Excellent. Yeah, so we're just south. Cathay's being worked on. Cathay's a lovely livery indeed. Mike says, my plans for future streams are a flight from Honolulu to Auckland. I just did a flight from San Francisco to Honolulu in a 350-900. Excellent. Yeah, we did a few long, proper 12-hour flights. Emma Bentley says, Air Tours will be happening. Now, Air Tours is a great one as well. Yeah, love it. Well, I'll be looking forward to that. Yeah, the old Air Tours livery. We did that was one of my favourite thumbnails. We did an Air Tours. I've used it for, I think it didn't work on my version of the 7.5, but I used the Air Tours livery on the 320 NEO in Microsoft Flight Simulator, certainly. That was a good livery. And I modified it. I've used it on the ToLiss A340 as well. And I modified it to work with the Neo. I remember doing the blue stripe because it was the easiest one for me to modify my limited limited livery painting abilities. Yeah, so we did some long haul flights in the 350-900s. As some of you will remember, we headed down to Australia, but the last one was all over water. So I decided my next one would be a little bit shorter, hence the Concorde flight to come. Morningstar, like a video on weather. Interesting. Yeah, that's funny actually. It's amazing I haven't covered that one, but that's a good point. I'll see what I can do for that. Interesting. Checkpoint says one benefit: stream started early today, so you get dinner early as well. Yeah, exactly. I get to eat at a normal time, and I do have 2 Viennese whales looking at me right now. This is like going back. We've gone into a time machine, and we're a year ago, except we're sitting in a ToLiss A340-600. So that's pretty great. Sky Blue Flyer, thanks for following. Falco, thanks for following. Great to have you here. RJP says you can keep the air tours. Worked for AIH, MIT, and Thomas Cook. There you go. Yeah, whenever we fly one of the classic charter liveries, we find some people who were involved somehow. Sebastian says, may I ask what made you want to be a pilot? Always wanted to, especially started... well, when I was a tiny kid and you could go onto the flight deck basically, and I used to go on holiday. I was very lucky I got to go on holiday on an airplane, and I would get to always get on board, and my parents would ask if we could go and see the flight deck during the cruise, and you were always allowed back then. They never said no unless it was too late in the flight. And yeah, you'd go and see the pilots. Great. And the view out the front, all the buttons, loved it straight away, and just became completely obsessed from that point onwards. Spent my entire childhood playing with model airplanes, building airfix kits, trying to work on Flight Simulator 98, trying to get all that working. And that's it. Yeah, so that was my first simulator. Checkpoint had the sneeze in the background. It wasn't me. Lauren Viennese, coffee and croissant. Yeah, I'm on tea and Viennese well time here. Sky would like a 146 flight into Antarctica. I found that route while searching something to fly. It's absolutely amazing. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, we did the 146 not long ago, and it was. I do like that 146. No, indeed, the Neo XLR, we don't see it as a long hauler. I suppose they probably mean heavy, but you can certainly, yeah, that is definitely a long hauler aircraft. Giovanni says, hi, one question. How do you program a radial for the missed approach? PSW videos. Thanks very much. Very kind. You could put in a pilot created waypoint. So we've shown this before. If I pick, oh, would it work from like AMSL? And then I can put the point, the radial, and then the distance, 25 miles, and I can stick that in underneath, and it comes in as a pilot waypoint, PBD. And if we zoom out, you'll see it, AMSL, and it's made it 25 miles off to the west, 270. I'm going to erase that. So you could do that into the go-around coding, but remember the go-around's already coded, so it should all be in there. If you just want to display a radial, if you press flight plan, go to the top left, fix info, and then we do AMSL, and then 270. So if I was flying a missed approach that involved, and it said something like, do not go beyond the 270 radial from AMSL. I mean, it wouldn't be because that's not VOR, but anyway, I would draw it on like that, and then I can see it. So that would be my other way. Those are the two sort of things I would do typically. Sometimes there's specific instructions for places, but yeah. Ruben just saw the 340 in real life. Excellent. Rip says, I started flight sim back in 1984. Excellent. That would... Oh, wow. That must be the original one then. RJP also had many flight day visits. Yeah, they were the good old days. Phil says, what's the UK's take on spam? I've never had it. So it's not very popular. That's indeed random, as Richard V says. Yeah. A340 flew from Los Angeles to Bournemouth. Oh, interesting. Bournemouth. Yeah, it's a good one. A&E, I do occasionally get to fly now. Yes, thank goodness. Although, obviously, the news lately has not been great, but we don't want to get too obsessed with what the news says. We'll wait and see what actually happens. Food is eating spam grilled cheese with soup. Excellent. No, Colorado 410 is the max flight level indeed. That's all we get, and you can see it here as well. Recommended max 41, but it is the actual limit of the aircraft. Out of interest, what's the cabin altitude? Yeah, look at that. So we're at 410, but the cabin altitude is 7,300 feet. So this pressurizes better than the 320. Differential pressure 8.6, so it's running at a higher differential pressure. So the cabin's a bit lower. Not much, 700 feet lower, but over 12 hours, that probably makes a difference. And I think the cabin would be even lower on a 380 or a 78. Skyler says, I feel too young since my first sim was X-Plane 10. I remember the hours of disk installation. Yeah, I had X-Plane 10. I feel like Morningstar. Morningstar, I feel like you're trying to make me completely ruin the flight. How do you depressurize and how do you clear the flight plan? We won't go into how you can depressurize, but clearing the flight plan, you could just change the route. Simon Wood says, my first simulator was an Acorn Atom. 2 screens, one for dials and read. The other was when you got in range of the airport, the runway was 2 white lines and a black background. Things have changed. They have indeed. Joanne, thanks very much. Glad you're enjoying it. Miku says, the 787 has an unusually low cabin altitude. It does indeed. Yeah, it is good for long flights. Tom Jet's down here. Excellent. That's our sort of flying. Sheep Point says, how do you open the window mid-flight? Oh dear. Captain Wazzo says, FS98 was my first sim. Amazing how much it's advanced since then. Spent many, many hours selecting Meeksfield. Just the same as me. 737, Meeksfield to Chicago O'Hare to that other Chicago airport to the other Chicago airport. I've done hundreds of hours in Chicago. And I didn't know how to calibrate my joystick when I started. So I could only turn left. It wouldn't turn right. Someone asked earlier, how do you pass coffee? I just thought about it because I've got a cup of tea and I just had to move it over my throttles. In real life, of course, there's just no reason the captain or the FO would be swapping drinks over the centre pedestal. If you were, you'd go way around the back there because you just, this is not a good place to spill tea. Not a good place. I thought Lauren V would remember that. Yeah, we did do a stream. It was in the 757 where we managed to depressurize the airplane, and we had to do an emergency descent. And we actually had to put the mask on because it started to black out, which is great. I mean, X-Plane's good for these extra details. I like that a lot. That was because it wasn't anyone's fault. Someone was being very helpful, and they gave me a command that would work. And they got it slightly wrong. It was one button wrong, and what the command did, I'm assuming it was innocent, was open a door or something like that. Now, you wouldn't be able to open the doors in real life when you're fully pressurized, but do not try. Definitely not, obviously. But yeah, it was yeah, it was. That made for an interesting flight. I think we managed to repressurize without diverting, and then we went back up to cruise. But yeah, Lauren V did, of course, remember that. Victor Leon, was your message about the Bluebell pack? If so, I'm really sorry. I did see it. I didn't get around to installing it. I totally forgot, but I really appreciate the message. If that was the message. I think it was. Tom Corwin says, I love long flights on the 7.8. Very comfortable cabin. Yeah, it is nice. Just a bit small sometimes, I think. Checkpoint says about first flights just made me think of the old days. My first holiday to Tunisia was Air Holland. Lost times, lost airlines. Yeah, so many airlines change names so often. This does have a secondary flight plan indeed, Scarlett. So if you wanted to do island hopping, it's all available. Works as you'd expect. It's very nice. Yeah, ToLiss have got great FMGS. It does have a model cabin, Jamie. There you go. Oh, that's me. This is a custom camera. I set that. Yeah, it's time to stretch our legs, show the stripes in front of the passengers, reassure everybody that there is a pilot somewhere on board. The trick is not to spend too long wandering around the cabin, I'd have thought. Although you're quite hidden up front. So there's the front galley. Here's all our first class. Is this business class or premium economy? Looks pretty business class to me. I think these probably stretch out quite a long way. Quite a lot of this, because of course it's so long. If you spill liquid on the A350 throttle quadrant, you can get an engine failure as a result. So says Dynamite, that's not good. Yeah, I think that's what happened actually. Yeah, I think it is. Captain Wazza says, Meigs, O'Hare, Midway Meigs. Yep, that sounds like my sort of day out. Mitch started with FSX on Pentium 4. Don't remember how it looked, but didn't feel like a sim. I remember, and here's a true economy. I remember the FSX minimum specifications were hopelessly low, and you couldn't really run it with what they said. If tea or something does get spilled, is it an emergency or pan? Just depends where you spill it. And all the screens work. Look at that. How good's that? Jacko says, managed my first VATSIM flight last Sunday. Sorry, there was an event on, and I was one of about 30, all trying to get into EGSS. Talk about diving in at the deep end. Was shaking once I got on the ground. I bet, yeah, that would have been quite busy. Even I struggle with the events; they are very busy. FPS, we'll go and check that out in a second. Do remind me. Yeah, they are absolutely fine though. Booty2 says, just when I think I'm getting to grips with the Airbus MCDU, you throw in a little extra fix or shortcut, which means I have to start all over again. So much to learn, so little time to learn it. Yeah, there's loads of tricks I don't even know about the MCDU. Loads. By comparison to Microsoft Flight Simulator in 2021, FS98 would run on a steam engine now, but we all got hooked on it, so it did its job. This stream is XP11 and it looks amazing compared to what we all started with. Yeah, it does indeed, Alpha Hunter. I agree. And yeah, the Flight Simulator 98 captured flying enough for me to enjoy it, so that's, yeah. And then I remember someone gave me an old disc of like military add-ons, which I think were for Flight Simulator 95, but they worked on 98, so I had like a really, really old Red Arrow and Vulcan and things like that in it, yeah. Charlie says, a colleague I work with is an expert at depressurization. On our tests, his showpiece is making it snow in the cabin. Goodness me, yeah. Wow, that must be quite something. There you go. Mike made a SAS livery, but it's fake. It's not. They never had it. Yeah, there you go. But they do famously have a lot of 340, so I think that's legitimate. Chris Drew says, on the 350 it has caused an uncommanded engine shutdown on at least 2 operators. There is a centre pedestal spill-proof retrofit happening. Oh wow, very good. Those are lie flat seats, seem Lufthansa style but not proper suite style business class, more popular today. I see. Yeah, lie flat business class. Victor Leon says it would be amazing to see the correct model. So that was the message. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I had meant to do it this morning. I didn't get around to it. I should be able to, because I have managed to install Bluebell CSL twice. So freeware scenery is beyond me in X-Plane, but I think that is, I have managed that before, so I might manage again. But that's not certain. The FO is indeed a Siamese, Mike's basement. Yep. Checkpoint started on Jaeger. Wow. Yeah, if the cabin seats were all playing gifts, I imagine it would be some sort of FPS hit. No, it's not more efficient to run on 2 engines while cruising, just because it wouldn't have enough power to stay up at high altitude where it's more efficient, and also it would have too much drag from the fan blades. Yeah. I'm not doing cross the pond, Colorado, I'm afraid. No. Pilot Petey, good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Pilot Petey, another streamer as well. Yeah, it's been a while. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing very well. Miku says, I've been on VATSIM for just over 3 years now. Pretty confident with most things, but for some reason I really struggle with reading back instructions to go direct to a waypoint. There you go. There's always something that gets us. There's always something. I often get caught out with... I get... the really hard one in the UK is the line up after. So air traffic, say they want you to line up after a landing airplane. They'll say behind the landing A320, line up on runway 27 behind. And then you have to read back that, which sounds easy, but it isn't. It never is. Thanks very much, MF Henriksen, for rating us with a party of 12. That's very kind. Good to see you all here. I hope you're enjoying it. Thanks for coming along. And thanks for the follow. And Gustav and Simfan as well. We didn't even know what rating was a little while ago. We had no idea. It's a Twitch phenomenon, but now we're here on Twitch. Skilo would like someone to do an engine mod for 300. 600 is amazing, but the engine upgrade means it's not a hairdryer. Yeah, but the only problem is you'd have to shorten the fuselage. I bet someone could do it, but it's going to be quite a mission. NTF Henriksen, you're very welcome. Thanks for coming along, and I'm glad you've enjoyed the videos. Mike's Basement says the flight factor A350-900 has 3x seat rows in economy and still has way less passenger seats than the ToLiss A340. Oh yeah. Now this is 747 level. I know the 350-1000s are designed to sort of take on the 747 role, but so was this. With its newer engines, problem was they didn't know it at the time, but 4 engines was just too many. Didn't work out. Let's go and make sure we reassure these passengers as well. Stroll around, looking calm. Does the old Chuck Yeager game count as a flight sim? I think so. I used to play an old Eurofighter and an F-22 game. I can't remember what they were called. Probably Eurofighter and F-22. Spent many hours with that.
If you cannot call me on this frequency, try again later when closer to Madeira.
Please stay in the last part, Iberia 231.
Iberia 2311. If you cannot contact me on this frequency, try again later. You probably won't be able because you will be too low.
Yeah, if I was going to do Cross the Pond, I'd do it in this. Definitely. When is Cross the Pond? Must be coming out. They run it, what, twice a year? 3 times a year? I've never done it though. Dorset says A340s at Bournemouth are amazing to watch when there's sun behind them. Yeah, they're great to watch landing, the 340-600s. They're just amazing with all those wheels and the length of them. Crazy. 300 would be cool, says Jack. It's less powerful, but it seems more operators are keeping theirs for the time being. Less fuel burn from the CFMs. Yeah, I'm assuming that's the reason. Yeah. Mike Spaceman had F-22 Lightning II. There you go. That was the one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Was it Lightning II? Maybe that was the one. Tickets, please, says Alpha Hunter. Yeah, absolutely. Mitch says, was the fuel engines thing just a fuel efficiency thing they didn't predict being an issue? Yeah, I don't know for sure. A few things would have factored into it, I'm guessing. And then now everything following It's total opinion, speculation, ignorance. Those are my excuses, because inevitably I say something and I'm wrong. But things that would have been accounted for when designing an airplane like this, especially back when it was designed in the 80s. Engine reliability. So these days we have ETOPS, which is extended twin engine operations, which allows you to fly procedures, I think it is, which allows you to fly a long way from land or an airport with just a twin engine aeroplane. The reason is, if one engine fails, the airplane is certified to fly on the remaining engine for whatever length of time. So it used to be you had to be within an hour of an airfield. So if you had a twin engine aeroplane, you couldn't then fly that twin engine aeroplane. I can't hit ATC. There we go. Yeah, if you had a twin engine aeroplane, you couldn't fly very far from diversion airport. Hence you had those 3 engine airplanes, MD-11, DC-10. You know, that was a thing for a while, wasn't it? TriStar. But that didn't last long before we started getting the twin jets. But then we kept these 4 engines for long haul, so 747 and then the 340 for long haul that needs to go oceanic. So that would have been one of the reasons I would imagine for this to have 4 engines, to make it that airplane that you could use ultra long haul over the Pacific, over the Atlantic, without having it restricted. And then power as well. It would have needed the power to carry the weight, hence make it this big and fit as many people on it as possible. And they presumably hoped that by being newer generation of engines than the Rolls-Royce RB211s, that it would actually be more efficient. Problem is, it didn't turn out to be quite as efficient, I don't think, as they thought. I'm guessing here, but I think that's the case. And also, it's ETOPS came into its own, and we now have airplanes that are allowed to fly hours away from diversion airports because they're certified to fly for like 3 hours on one engine and longer. So that's my guess. Loads of factors would have come into it. But you know, the 330 was made at the same time, so they knew there was a twin engine market. So in a way, it's sort of weird they ever made it. I assume it just could take a few extra passengers over the 330-300. Lauren V says the old Red Baron game was pretty common entry for a lot of people. Very good, yeah. I've not tried the F-35 model, no. I do remember the Nats. That was my first Airfix kit was a Red Arrows Nats. Yeah, VT2. Oh, have I missed my only call? I feel bad if I have. Mike says, on a different note, since it's sometime in the future, how excited are you for the A330 that Laminar is putting into X-Plane 12? Yeah, it looked good. We have the ToLiss Airbuses, so it looked good. It had the, I talked about it in the video a bit. It had the normal law and all that sort of stuff, so it looked good. But now I've got this. I prefer this to the 330, just as a pure aeroplane to aeroplane perspective. So I'm probably going to stick with this one. Probably. 30th. Thanks very much, 30th. Sorry, I'm way behind the chat again. Okay, so they're pretty confident with their 7.3 was very good. So I'm optimistic about X-Plane's Airbus. I think it'll be a very good Airbus. 340-300 was also a bit slower than the 5-600, topped out 8384. Ah, very good. Thanks, Lauren. Igloo says, I remember playing Chuck Yeager first sim in the 80s. That's my first sim. Okay, I have to look this one up. I haven't seen it. 300 topped at 8.6. There you go. So the 350-900 is 8.9, so that's the one to be on. Yep. I looked at the numbers yesterday in order to have someone talk about my stream. I didn't know you streamed Mike Basement. I do apologise. There you go. Mike Basement also streaming. Naturally says, what's the engine start sequence for the 340? Which engine do you start first? And can you start 2 engines? You can start 2 engines as far as I'm aware, and everyone seems to agree on that. And my understanding is it's 3 and 4 and then 1 and 2. No real world experience on that. That is purely what I found out from fellow enthusiasts. No, I don't think Concorde will make a comeback, sadly, Morningstar. It's just too beyond its time now. David says I was behind one of these when it was taking off and it blew my sunglasses across the other side of the road. Excellent. A350 has the longest ETOPS, 370 minutes. Goodness me, 370 minutes on one engine. That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Isn't it EDTO, Extended Diversion Time Operations? Oh, maybe it is. Yeah, maybe it's changed. Twice a year for Across the Pond. Thanks for you too. Goodness me, it feels like it comes around quicker. Deadly Coronavirus says, if you got a direct to waypoint from ATC, is there any reason to not accept it? If it takes you somewhere you think isn't safe, or there's weather in the way, usually. So high terrain, if you're in a descent or climb and you're not able to go that way, usually air traffic don't do that, but they could by accident. And also weather. They won't know if there's weather, so they will send you direct somewhere even if there's weather there, and you'll have to tell them. If you don't want to go just because it's a bit of a longer routing, that usually doesn't work. You'd have to tell them. Thanks for the follow, DB Veta and Deadly Coronavirus. This is indeed XP11. Default XP 12 will have default 737 FMC though. This is livery. Ah, yeah, that wouldn't be so good. But still, it's always nice when people get an Airbus of some variety because it's so different. So just getting that normal law, fly-by-wire feel, I think that's good. 370 minutes EDTO by FAA and EASA. That is amazing, isn't it? Boom might pull off the supersonic thing. Yeah, indeed. But we do hear that every now and then. There's another supersonic plane coming, and we hear a lot about it. But and then we don't hear much else. So I'll believe it when I see it. It does eventually happen, like Virgin Galactic did happen. Right, 340. 34, so that's going to be runway 28. Coming in via MAPADS. No. MABAP. My bad. MABAP for Alpha. MABAP. MX289 to ram him. Approach. RNAV 28. Yeah, we're going to try the non-precision. I think we'll do an RNAV. Could do a VOR, but let's do an RNAV. Don't think it has FLS. From Ramim, Rimpa, MX281, runway 28. And the question here, will it have the descent point? I hope it does, because the ToLiss 321 does now. They did a great job. I talked about it for a year without it being there, and then they added it. It was brilliant. And there's the airports. Nice long runway, 3,100 meters. We're going to have to come off at the ends and then come all the way back to park. So we get a nice bit of taxiing. I hope we fit. I haven't tried it. I'm hoping it's a big enough airport in and park here. So let's just check that route. Zoom in, plan.
Center, Iberia 231, passing Heathrow in flight level 100.
Iberia 2311, fly direct to Pilim.
Flying direct, Penguin, Iberia 231.
Iberia 2311, direct to Pilim.
Sorry about that. Just had to sort something else out, but let me just jump in. So apparently Scala says Virgin Galactic isn't really sustainable though. The engine bell ablates every flight. Oh dear.
I don't have a Penguin.
Yeah, that's not so good. Morningstar, TANR, yeah, absolutely. Traffic it's traffic alert resolution advisory. Yeah, don't ask me why, but that's I believe the names of those two, or something similar to that. Victor says, I read the 340 starting sequence is first 1-2 because the number 2 engine powers the blue hydraulic system. So, yeah, I agree. Number 2 does the blue system. Does that power the parking brake? I'm just guessing. Because in the 320 we do it engine 2 first to power the parking brake. So, that could make sense indeed. Boeing 777 driver says, for ETOPS, do you know what the usual range ring settings are? No, I'm afraid I don't.
532. No more.
Iberia 2311, Roger. Fly direct, Mike Alpha 532.
Yeah, it's traffic advisory and resolution advisory. There you go.
1023.
Both advisory.
Flying direct, Mike Alpha 5.
Yeah, Mike's Basement. It's the voice that will say traffic, traffic, and then later pull up or descend. It will actually say climb or descend. Yeah, pull up is the GPWS if you're near the ground. So it'd say climb, climb. And sometimes it says clever things like crossing, climb. And it will say descend, level off, level off. Yeah.
Iberia 2311.
Naturally, Herb says, is it possible for painters to replace that GK logo on the engine with the actual Rolls Royce? I'm sure it is. Well, I'm not certain actually. Depends where that texture comes from. Good question. But remember, this is a beta. This is a preview model, so this won't necessarily be what you'll get. I'm not sure if the final one will come with RR, but judging by the previous ToLiss, I would imagine so. I don't know if it has X camera presets, Alan. I do apologise. I added 2. I've got this view and this view, which I made. They're just quick views, just assigned a shortcut. So I do this for all my airliners. I give myself 2 wing views, one looking back, one looking at the back of the wing for the flaps and all that good stuff. Lufthansa Livery has the real Rolls Royce. Like, there you go, Chris. Good to see you, Chris. Thanks for coming along, and that's good. Good news. Mike says 1228 version 292. Thank you. Goodbye. We've had good coverage, but we have run out, which is there you go. We're on Unicom. There you go. So people have managed to change it already. So that solves that one. Right. I'm going to say that it's just time for a quick break, and then we're going to brief the arrival. As you can see, we're getting close now. We're into the last stage of the flight. Very exciting. Going to do a non-precision RNAV approach, so don't miss it. It's going to be good fun. So I'll play the break music, which I know is enjoyed, and we will see you very soon. Hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the short interlude there, and I know the music's always very popular. I must find the name of it. It's in the YouTube's library. It's very good, by Chris Howson, but I've forgotten the exact name of the track. But if you look for Chris Howson in the YouTube royalty-free library, it's in there. Right, we are getting to our top of descent, 80 miles to go, and we're going to reach that 80 miles pretty quickly, going at 500 knots over the ground. So, let's talk about the arrival. We're going to fly quite a simple one. No real train issues. All the FO's arriving just in time. Hello. Can she say hello? Are you going to say hello to everyone? You're right. Hello. Little bit. Little hello. More of a complaint. Yeah, we're going to fly from Mabap down to 6,000 feet. MSA 5,000 out here. And then 5,500 because there is an MSA of 11. But we'll be at 5.5 over to Ramim. From Ramim, we're going to head basically south, slightly off south, down to Rinpa, 200 knots maximum. Crucially, that means that we, in this airplane, are going to need to... Oh, we can be clean. No, sorry, no, we need at least flap one out. We need the slats out, because our minimum clean is 212. So we'll have the slats out past Rinpa, so they'll come out a bit earlier than normal. Then we'll point in by MX281. MX281 is where we'll start a descent from 3,200 down a 3-degree slope towards the runway. Nothing unusual there. 3-degree descent angle. LNAV only guidance for straight in landing 1990, but we're going to use final lap. So I put in 1990. Unusual to see LNAV only guidance. Let's just check the coding. So there's Ramim, overfly, Rinpa, MX281. MX281 is at the final descent point. I'm so happy ToLiss added this. This is just a sign of their quality as ever. But yeah, it's 3 degrees and then down to the threshold. Notice 1,600 feet. Oh. Sadly, that's a glitch. I would follow it, but it's a real one. Interesting. We're at the ceiling altitude of the aircraft. So would you follow the traffic, a resolutionary advisory to climb? 41,000 feet is our maximum. Are you going to follow that climb? Question for you guys. Apparently the engine protection file is red. Okay, interesting. Chickpoint says as long as you keep the brake music on repeat, you can take breaks as long as you want. Exactly. And yeah, so I apologise. I'm going to miss a few things in the chat. I'm just going to have to skip through a little bit. I should put the song name on the screen. Yeah, I might do that. Good idea. I wouldn't, says Adam. Elise Maggie says yes. Miku says, would the TCAS give a different RA? Good question. I'll let a few other people chip in. Yes, from Wojtek. The real aircraft would know better than to tell you to climb, says Lauren. Depends if you want to run into another plane, says Old Man Bishop. What's going to kill you, braking limitation or the other plane to descend? Oh, sorry, or hitting another aircraft. Rasmus says, I guess you need to follow it since it's telling you the other plane to descend. Hold level, other planes, TCAS changes. No, we follow it. We follow our race. Yeah. It'd be very bad luck to get one in the cruise at your maximum operating altitude. But realistically, the most you're going to climb is 1,000 feet. And even that, at the performance of the airplane at this altitude, you're probably not going to manage that. So it's going to run out of energy. It would be a shame to get a climb up here. It really would. It's very, very rare. You're more likely to get it in the lower levels where you have airplanes climbing and descending through each other. That's where you get TCAS rays. That's where I've had an RA. Up in the cruise, no. And especially at 41,000 feet, even if someone was climbing up really fast to level off just beneath you, they're not going to be able to climb fast enough to trigger an RA unless they actually do go through their cleared altitude. It is possible. But as you're all saying, pretty much, there's a limitation on the altitude, but if you need to avoid hitting another airplane, that's what you're going to follow, isn't it? That is not certified flying advice, though. I'm just talking in general. Nobody take that for real world use. Promise me that. Because I might find out some countries have different rules or something. That's usually what happens. Yeah, there's a safety margin. The service ceiling of the aircraft will have a few safety margins, including a limitation on the G, which is the performance limit, and then there will also be structural limits on the pressurization and so on. Yeah. Piano Learner, good to see you. Piano Learner says, just popped in to say hello. We'll have to catch up and watch the stream at the weekend as I'm currently on holiday. Excellent, enjoy that. Been staying in the RAF Valley, so I've seen a lot of hawks. Awesome. I think I saw your comment on the hawk video, Piano Learner. Yeah, I've been meaning to reply. Elitist Maggie, no, please don't. Right, anyway. Yeah, so we follow TCAS basically in pretty much all scenarios because it's just considered so foolproof. But here we go. So that's the arrival. Final descent point, 3,200 feet, 3 degrees down. And I was going to show the landing elevation of the runway. It's 1,500 feet. So we're going to need to be slowing down a bit earlier. We need our distance to go. So flight plan's looking good. RadNav we don't need. It's an RNav. We're going to put in GMMX28 for landing into here. Progress page. So we've got the runway, distance to go. Performance page. There's the desk data coming up thanks to the ToLiss. Does it at a suitable moment to remind you. Thanks for the follow, Nimrazy. Right, weather goes in now. And we've got 3405, 30 degrees. Look at that. 30 degrees. 3440 at 5. QNH 1018. Thanks, Monarchs, for the follow. Transition level, flight level 50. I've had a lot of questions about this, so I'm going to have to do a video on it. But yeah, without air traffic, we don't know. Let me just check. There is no air traffic. No, definitely not. So we don't know the transition level, but you see it says by ATC. So I can cheat if any of the charts include the altitude is 6,000. Quite low actually, considering how high the train is. So let's go for flight level 75. Just a bit higher, certainly above 6,000 I would imagine. We'll do a flat full landing. It's quite a long runway. Go in altitude. Climb straight to Odalo, 6,000 feet. So yeah, that 50 was wrong. And I'm going to go for an auto brake of, I think 3 worked nicely last time. I think we'll do 3, just in case I float along. Coming out to our descent point shortly. Our descent speeds are crazy high in this one, so. Good. Fuel, we're doing well. We've got loads of fuel. Oh yeah, let's dump a bit of it. I don't want to land with 18 tons. So let's dump. I took 10 tons extra. Let's dump 5. So we're going to be at a gross weight of 23.8. Let's drop that to, sorry, 233.8. I still can't get used to that. So I want to drop 5 tons, which will be, and this is definitely maths you would want to check for the other pilot, 228.8. We put that in there. Let's get rid of it. Active. Yeah, there's no procedure in the world that would be that flippant about it. They would be incredibly careful. That was very confident of me, and I don't think I've done it right. Why not? Have we missed our chance? Is it not in the right tanks? No, we've got fuel in all the right tanks. Oh, that's interesting. We did exactly this last time, and it worked just fine. Is it because there's fuel transferring? Thanks for the follow, Cockpit. If you were to have a TCAS array involving a 747-400, would it tell you to descend and it to climb, given that you are the service ceiling and the 74 can reach 4.5? Miku, I don't think TCAS is that clever. It does look at how the airplanes are performing once they start, though. Butchie2, glad you're enjoying the stream. Thanks for coming along. If the transition level is flight level 50, I take the TA as 5.5 at least as Lauren V. There you go. Yeah. So the altitude is set. It doesn't change, but the level does change. I don't think the Airbus is too automated, no. Right, let's do our usual. We're going to start with 100. Push it in. Thrust idle des. Maybe it just takes a minute. I don't know. (228), which is definitely a lower number. And it did accept it, but it's not doing it. I wonder why. How curious. Jettison, arm, and active. Oh well. I've got more studying to do, clearly. Luckily, we can land with what we've got. Thanks, Brain, for the follow. See you on Discord later, Booty. Thanks for coming along. But no, I don't think the Airbus is too automated. No, I think it's a fantastic machine. Now I'm going to go into managed speed, because we saw that the ToLiss doesn't quite convert as I'd expect it to, which led us to a bit of a problem. Playing behind, are we happy with the fuel trail, says Rasmus? Exactly. So does anyone know? But below 4.4 in the outer tanks, you cannot dump fuel. Thanks, Maximilian. There's the information. We missed our chance. How interesting. And they've even simulated it. Brilliant. Oh, I'm glad we did it on the first stream. So we've definitely done it. We know it works and looks great. How good is that? That's actually done properly. Everybody says, are you too high and too fast? No, not really. We're fast, but we're not too high. Distance to run, oh, excuse me, 135 miles. We're at 36,000 feet. 36 times 3 would be 90, 105, 108 miles, plus another 10 to slow down, 120. We need about 120 miles. We've got 133 with a bit of a tailwind, so that's about right. Yeah, happy with that. We'll go to constraints, get rid of the fuel page. So we burnt 22.5 tons of fuel to get to this point. That is a lot of fuel out the window. Spray and pray, but with a different meaning behind it. I have no training in the 330. Nope, as you guys can probably tell, I don't have a clue what I'm doing when the airplane gets too big, especially when it comes to fuel. I think it's general Airbus rule. Yeah, Chris Drew says, I think as a general Airbus rule, any guided switch should be confirmed by the other pilot. Red guided means it's irreversible, i.e. 5-bottle rat. Yeah, and that's an interesting point. So red is irreversible. So the IDGs are the most known ones. Once you've disconnected the generator from the bus bar, from the engine, which is the IDG, the integrated drive generator, when you disconnect it, you can't put it back on. An engineer has to do it. So if I was to press all 4 of these, that's that. We wouldn't have any generators. We could go and use the APU generator, but there you go. So it's irreversible. It's interesting that the fuel is considered red. I suppose once you've jettisoned it, it's not coming back into the airplane, is it? So it's worth being red. Mike says, almost as much as the 321 can hold totally. Exactly, yeah. We burnt that much fuel just to get here. And we didn't, yeah, it's silly. It does burn too much fuel. I mean, we burn 2 tons an hour. So if we leveled off here at 30,000 feet, I'm going to use this magic out button actually. I want to see what the out button does. We don't have that in the 320. So pushing to level off, we get VS0 and the airplane will just level off. Or it won't level off, it will just go towards 0 until it's flying level, but it won't choose an altitude. But if I press Alt, it goes straight into Alt Star, and look at that, it does select an altitude and it does capture it into Alt mode. Interesting. So let's just see, if we level off here doing decimal 77, which is a similar speed to a 320. A 320 would burn about 2 tons an hour here. Oh, this is ridiculous. We're burning... Oh, the best part of 8 tons an hour. That's quite a difference. It is a thirsty airplane. But yeah, so that out button's a new one. I haven't seen it before. Let's go back into the thrust idle. Des. This isn't what she was designed for, says denied. No, it wasn't what she was designed for. It would be more efficient, obviously, as it goes along longer. But in terms of actual fuel flow, it is. I mean, why wouldn't it be? It is a much bigger airplane. It has 4 big engines. We're expecting that. But it is still impressive to see the number. I think it was supposed to compete with the 777-3, says Live HC. I don't think it put up a good fight. No, I don't think it did. Yeah, exactly 4 A320s worth. So it's not really fair, I suppose, to compare it to a 321 NEO, which obviously is a much newer machine and has those engines. So we can't pretend, because that can hold 230 passengers quite easily, which is not a dissimilar load to what this might have had. By the way, the difference here, let's do push to level off. Here goes Mac and Alt. Oh, that's interesting. So it's different. It would just say VS0 in the 3... I don't know the speed. Excuse me, a bit of speed break here. In the 320, it would just go VS0. It wouldn't actually go into Alt mode at all. But this one has automatically gone into Alt like that. Yeah, strange. I don't know why they did this on the long hauls and not the short hauls, but I don't think it's particularly useful, to be honest. So now we're in Alt without it showing. I would have thought that would say VS0. It's an interesting one. I'm not sure about that. Because saying Alt but not showing me the Alt I'm in is very confusing. IDG, integrated drive generator, Duran, and that is how we generate electricity. So if we go to the electrical page, it'll be AC because they're spinning, so they're AC generators. And we've got an IDG running with 45-degree temperature oil. That is attached to the engine, spins based on the engine spinning, and therefore turns a generator. And that's where we get our Gen 1 power from, which is then sent out to the aeroplane to use. That's as much as I can give you. You have to ask an engineer for any more. Philippe, hi. Max range of the 340. Oh, that's a good Wikipedia fact. I wrote it down. No, I didn't. I missed that one. It's quite a long way, though. Especially when they're empty. Oh, you found the one fact I don't know. If you'd like to know its wingspan, it's 63.5 meters. And it's 75.3 meters long. And the wing sweep is 31.1 degrees, which is about a degree more than the 342 and 300s, which I did find funny. The 345 and 600 has more of a wing sweep. Don't ask me why. Just to look cooler. Ed Hassan back for the descent. Excellent. So excuses for landing. Well, the biggest one is don't trust the overlay feet per minute. We've decided that that's not quite accurate. It's never really that accurate, and it doesn't seem to work very well with this aeroplane. So the feet per minute in the you see won't really represent the landing. So we're going to judge the landing based on what we see. So we can still judge it as a hard landing if we think it looks bad. That's the excuse. 7,900 nautical miles for max range is Adam Cooper. Excellent. Chris Drew says out button is the same as pressing the VS knob. They both level the aircraft off immediately. It's modeled accurately in your demo. FMA is accurate, not to worry. Okay, so that's interesting. Yeah, so in the 320. We don't have an out button, it's an expedite button, and if we push the level off, we don't go into out mode, we go into VS0. But there's obviously some reason that's different in the long haul aircraft. Interesting. Yeah, see, I should have known ToLiss have done the right thing. So thanks for that, Chris. Why do they have a larger sweep? Says Igloo Foo, or is it Greg? Yeah, no idea. Because I don't think this is any faster. Mike says, does anyone know if the backup batteries in the A350 get recharged? Are they replaced because the elect page doesn't connect them to anything? They must recharge. I can't see how they couldn't. They'll be on the DC page. So they're not connected here, but that's because they're not being charged. So they don't actually show the connection unless they're drained, and then they need to be charged. So you wouldn't really see it in flight. It would just charge every now and then from the battery bus. Live ATC says, thoughts on supersonic flight? Yeah, one day maybe, but I want to see it actually happen before I believe it. Ricardo says, the 330 and 320 are rather similar in feel. I've been fortunate to have flown the 320 level D and 330 level D, and the 330 just has more inertia, but otherwise similar. Very good. Thanks very much, Ricardo. Yeah, that's what I would suspect, but I've never done it, so interesting. Ultimately, remember, the side sticks are commanding. Those of you who've seen my What is the Airbus videos, where I talk about normal law, alternate law, and so on. If I disconnect the autopilot now and pull back on the stick, I'm commanding a G-force from the airplane. So it's the same, and same limitations on the, or roughly, on these long-haul aircraft as the short haul. Same with the roll. In normal law, I'm commanding a roll rate, not an actual input. So it should feel the same. The airplane will move the controls accordingly, but it should feel the same and respond in the same way. Joanne would like to know more about the AC and DC electrics, maybe a video. I do have an electrics video on the 320. In terms of this airplane, I would be a bit lost, I'm afraid, for the differences, because there's just so many generators. But I do have a 320 video, but maybe I could talk about it a bit more if I could think of some more things to say. Yeah, thanks. Johann reckons the wing sweep is to do with the central gravity and therefore the lifting arm. Yeah, could be. Could be that it's better to have the center of the pressure. So where the wings generate their lift would obviously be slightly further back on a higher sweep. So perhaps they expected the central of gravity to be further back. But I think what happened was it's actually quite far forward on these airplanes, and that was part of the issue. Maybe that's why there's a wing sweep. If you get this wing swept back and the engine's further back, it will help bring the gravity back. But of course, it also means your lift is coming from further back. I really don't know. Yeah. Are type ratings for an A340 more expensive than 320? No, although you might struggle because it will be rare to find a simulator, so you might have to pay a premium because of rarity. But in terms, normally it shouldn't be. Chris says 340 sim pilot when? Yeah, exactly. That's what I called the overlay for this one, 340 sim pilot. Mark S says, who in their right mind gets home from work and says, you know what, I'll work virtually? I know, right? Yeah, I know. The thing is, I don't do this when I get home from work, and I don't do it just before going into work. Let me be very clear about that. I don't put this near work, put it that way. Adam, I have not penciled in the Concorde stream. I need to learn it first. I have the version 2 downloaded. I paid them their little tip for the version 2, and I need to get going with the manuals on that. Yep. So, sorry, not quite got a date yet. Thanks, Summit, for the follow. And Arno and Lewis. I've still got the Thrustmaster from the last stream. I have not used the Wing one in stream yet, but I'm going to set that up with a desk mount, which I think will be much better. And I think, well, actually, yeah, I think that'll be really good. Yeah, Ham, I got lucky with the 3080. I happened to be on a website one day and it came in stock. I can't believe it. Elliot says, get in touch with Maverick. Yeah, and Hayden's been telling me to do that. I must do that. Maverick seems to be the person to the Concorde guru on Flight Sim World. Or in Flight Sim World. How is the McDo? It's very good. Ooh, am I going to stream the Concorde practice on Twitch? I could too. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'll have a think about that. I think because the aircraft is designed for sectors 10 hours or greater to get that CP aft and high Mach number for long haul is denied. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Hence the ability to put fuel in that tail. In that little tail tank, which is great. I love that ToLiss modeled that properly. Here we go, getting close to destination. Not that we're allowed in anymore, but there we go. Johan says the wings are also much larger, 20% more area, nearly the same wingspan, but the wings are deeper, lower aspect ratio. So basically the wing was probably completely redesigned and the sweep was part of it. There you go, makes sense. I have Summit says, I didn't even know you streamed on Twitch, been subbed on YouTube for ages. Thanks, yeah, Twitch is a relatively new one. I did put out a community post or two, but they don't always get to everyone. Join the Discord as well. I keep everyone very updated on the Discord. New videos, new streams, if I'm on Twitch, if I'm on YouTube. Air Teslan would like Concorde practice on Twitch. Yeah, it might be Acer, it might be terrible and really painful as I sit there in silence just reading manuals. But that's what the Twitch is for. I did agree that when I set it up. Mark says, how good are commercial simulators like the red letter day ones? Always wanted to try it for years, but only if it's accurate. Oh yeah, it depends which one you get. If you get a full motion one, then those are spot on. They handle like the real airplane, they feel like the real airplane, they're excellent. Let's go down to flight level 80, let's keep it in managed DES. There are some other ones that may be a bit less accurate, but it just depends, yeah. So if it's full motion, they're usually very, very good. They won't always have amazing visuals, so you might be sat in one and you might go, oh, the visuals in Microsoft Flight Simulator out the window look better than any commercial simulator I've ever trained in, like real level D sim. But that's not really the point of them. They will have collimated screens, 3D screens and all sorts. So don't worry about the visuals out the window. The airplane will feel like the real airplane for sure. They're amazing. But yeah, it's not always the case. There are some that might not be so accurate. So do a bit of research and you'll find out from people who've been whether they enjoyed it or not. Next to Concorde, the A340 is almost a fuel abstainer. Yeah, Mike's facing. Yeah, that's a good point. Still be good fun. We can all learn together. Okay. Thanks for the sub, Marcus. 6 tons per engine in idle for the Concorde. That's amazing. Does the PFD ND button work? Oh, good one. I haven't tried it. Yeah, I wasn't worried. Look at that. No problem. Thanks, Omega, for the follow. Right, now I'm a bit confused by this. So we're in DES, but it wants us to pretty much level at 100, but it drove itself down here to level. So this is not the most efficient arrival it's ever come up with. Now it did that to slow down to 250, but it was already running a bit slower than it thought it would, so it needed to put power on. It's interesting. Right, so on our charts, the next leg, we can now drop down to 5,500 feet. I have a video on SIDS and star charts and ILS charts now, which should hopefully help you out if you're wondering. We're going to set the QNH now because we're going down to an altitude, and it was 1018. I made that look painful, but that's my mouse wheel not working properly. 1018 is all set, so we're going down to 5,500, which is armed and out blue. We're not going to press the LS buttons, but we are going to put the landing lights on, and we're going to strap in the passengers. Please sit down, everybody. There will be a replay after this flight of the landing, depending on how badly it goes. Seatbelt signs are on. Now's the time to stare out the window and watch your monitor as you arrive on holiday. Lucky people. Ribbon says, I hope at some point there'll be this kind of system depth in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Oh, I'm sure there will. And I would say the CRJ is already there, very detailed. Simbrief says the 340-600 needs 65 tons for Heathrow to JFK. The lowest fuel I've used on Concorde is 70, so not too much different. There you go. But Concorde does burn that in half the time. So yeah, about double the flow. Checkpoint, thanks for that. Yeah, I need to clean up the scoreboard. I'll give that a go. I will give that a go. Mike says, I smashed the 350-900 down with 700 feet per minute, so you can't possibly do worse. Oh, I'm sure I could. Live HC, what's your all-time favourite aircraft in airport? That's really hard. I struggle with all-time favourite aircraft. This was definitely one of them, though. I don't think the fly-by-wire A320 shows top of descent yet. No, I think their virtual navigation is not inbuilt yet. Right, here we go then. There's the terrain, hence the high MSAs over there. We're looking good on speed. I'm going to let it do its Airbus thing, so it's going to decel as we come around the turn. We're going to get flap 1 out as we do that. It should have the speed limit of 200 knots at RIMPA. It's going to be a little bit fast. A little bit fast. as it gets there. Yeah, it already has 200, so we'll just leave that as it is. We can already put up flap 1 because, of course, now we're just like the 320 series. When we put up flap 1 in flight, it just gives us slats, whereas after takeoff, when we brought from 3 to 1, it gave us 1 plus F. And on the ground, it's 1 plus F. Alpha Hunter, glad you've enjoyed it. We have plenty of excuses for landings, as always, but I'm glad you've been enjoying it anyway. 340 comes out 25th of October. There is indeed wing flex in XP11, and it's even adjustable on this airplane to suit what you fancy. For some reason, says Drone, my ToLiss 321 slows down to 250 knots after reaching 10,000 feet, which means the altitude sometimes comes down to 9,000 feet till it reaches 250, maybe because of high cosmetics. Yeah, it normally does it slightly above it, but it's not anything air traffic are going to get too upset about. 340-600 Morpheus, thanks for joining us. And yeah, that's what we're flying. The ToLiss upcoming. This is still the preview model. It's been a long old flight. Right, so about to come round the turn on this leg. Oh, excuse me. Down to 4-3. I don't really want it to speed up. Four, 3, down it goes. Thrust there's. I'm going to put flap 1 out now, so we're ready. Flap 1, there you go. It's activated the approach phase, so it's slowing down. The question is, would it be in time? It's got very powerful speed brakes, so I'm quite happy with them. On the PFD, you have the engine displays up, EPR. Inside the gauges is like a white pie section. What is that showing? Flight window for performance, normal? Yeah, I think that's what it is. I don't know. I'm not a fan of EPR, so I usually N1s normally. Yeah, I don't know. It's unusual, isn't it? I wish I could answer that one. I'll have to do a bit more research. Right, I want to slow this down quickly, so we'll go flaps 2. Round the turn now. Leveling down at platform. So next leg, we need to be 185, which we'll do. And we can go down to 3-2 after RINPA. Down we go. MX281 from 3-2 is the start of our arrival. I'm just going to force it down now with vertical speed. It was doing quite a good job, to be fair. Do 2,000 feet per minute, no more than that. Right, guys. Approach checklist briefing is confirmed. ECAM status is checked. Seatbelts are on. Barra F1018 is set on both sides. Minima is 1990. Engine start selector is normal. So we're going to get ready for the landing now. That's a bit much. We don't need to do 2,000s. 1,000 feet per minute. The reason is I want to actually get it to level off properly. We are now 8 miles out, doing 180 knots. So gear down. We should get the rad out any minute because it's 1,500 feet. So actually, oh, there it is. Yeah, 2,500 feet as expected. So that's good. I'm going to go to flap 3. Just so we don't have those engines spooling up too much. And I'm going to arm the approach. Wouldn't necessarily do it from here normally, but I think today it's going to work. So there's final app. So the reason I wouldn't normally do it from here is it's now potentially going to do a little bit of a climb. So that's all worked out. Speed is right back. Thanks, NoFest, for the follow. Final flap to come then. And we'll check the go and altitude can go in because we're using final lap mode. We can put that in already. If we were using track FPA, we couldn't. We've done lots of track FPA in Microsoft Flight Simulator recently. Right, flap full. Landing checklist. Cabin crew. And as ever, if you do a rushed approach, you forget the last lights in the gear. Arming the spoilers with the gear. So cabin crew advised, auto thrust is in speed mode, auto brake is 3, ECAM memo, landing at blue, landing checklist complete, and we better make a call. Marrakesh traffic, version 292, final to land, runway 28. Speed in the upper left corner, FMA is telling us that the auto thrust is in speed mode, therefore targeting this speed here, which is our final approach speed, 146 knots today. So flat full landing, tail strike being the big risk in the 340-600, obviously. So look at that, we're approaching in 4 degrees and we can't go above, I've written it down, it is 8.4 degrees after 400 feet. So it's going to have a red arrow. So we've only got about 4 degrees to flare with, not much. And remember, don't trust the feet per minute you're going to see on the screen, I promise. There we go. We will get some replays later. Thanks for the follow. Elastics. Does feel nose high, doesn't it? The Flying Jelly, thanks for the follow. And Yanis and Ribanius. Right, gonna focus up now. Excuses are all fired away. Might bring up. Should I bring up the PFD? What did I used to do with the ToLiss? No, I think I'll leave it there. I used to run this at 1080p in like a window, but now I've got it full screen. So flaring slightly earlier than in the 320. Idling at the same point. Doing our best. Autopilot off. Slight headwind from the right. It is an RNAV, so you'll see there it's reverted. So I'm going to go flight directors off. Bird on. Runway track is in. Don't want to get any lower really. Try not to do too much. Idle. There's the touchdown. Get the nose down. That's the hard bit. There it is. And rolling out. Massive great runway here. Reverses to idle. 70 knots. Let the auto brake take the strain. Doesn't seem to have a brake to vacate option. There we go. Auto brakes now disarmed. Was it 211? There we go. We'll take that. Yeah, we'll have a look at it from the outside. Thanks for the subscription, Zach and Alex. Replay coming soon. So people think that. I think that felt okay to me. I think we were okay. Probably I should have leveled the wings a little bit more. We'll go forward idle now just to make sure we can actually make it to the exit. So let's put that. Yeah, long landing, no touchdown zone. I don't think we were too. I think that would have been in the touchdown zone if we had a touchdown zone. Put it that way. But yeah, a little bit of a float. Imash says, just saw this in my recommended. Thanks for coming along. And thanks for the subscription. And Bandy Chopper. And Zach, if I didn't say. Yeah, I was happy with that. I think that was better than our last attempt. The last attempt we flared a little bit late into Heathrow. Didn't go so well. Now, this doesn't really look like a long-haul exit, but we're going to see what happens because I have a horrible feeling there aren't many long-haul exits on here. Seen way more battery in 211. Yeah, so it doesn't work. The landing feet per minute doesn't quite add up in this aircraft. Right, here we go. Round we go. I tell you what, those of you who like taxiing are going to enjoy this airplane because it's so much fun driving it around. Look at that. Yeah. There we go. That's sort of what. Nope, not too far the other way though. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy this one. It's really a real treat. So, off the runway then. And we can do everything. This is X-Plane. Flaps up. Speed brakes disarmed. In they come. You'll see the ailerons undroop. Here's a question. Can I taxi from this camera? Yes, I can. Look at that. That's the dream, surely, of flight simulators. AC455, thanks for coming. And moderating, good to see you here. Look at that. Oh, that's great. I haven't been able to do that before. Normally we have to choose. And we can see that we're not going off the runway. So now we're going to roll back. We do need to get rid of those strobe lights. Replay coming live ATC, don't worry. Brian flew into Marrakesh in FS 2020 the other day. What a comparison. Excellent. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it looks very good. I have to do, maybe we'll take the Hawk out of Marrakesh in FS 2020 or something to try it out. Miku flew here in real life in the BH737-400. Excellent. Now, I don't think the nose will turn. So it certainly doesn't turn at the moment. No. But I'll let them off because it's still such a neat little feature. Collie behind us. Yeah, good point. Yes, there they are. Oh, excellent. We'll get to see that as well. So in the meantime, I'm going to turn off the landing lights, turn off the strobes, start up the APU. Oh, we need this PFD camera in more airplanes. This is it's so good for flight simming. Thanks for the follow. Right, we're going to go park up on the main terminal. So we're rolling down here. I'm hoping one of these stands will fit a 340. It may not. As I said, replay coming soon. So thank you all for coming along. I hope you enjoyed the flight. I hope you've seen a bit more about the 340. Once again, we've seen loads of different systems that work, and I've learned new things about it. Thank you to those of you who've been in the chat who do know about it and taken the time to share that with us. Really appreciate it. It's been really, really, really good fun, and I've learned loads.
Marrakesh traffic, speedboat 26 Delta, final, nav 28.
There we go. They're following us in. Excellent. Always lovely to see colleagues land. I remember the one time in the Maldives when we saw them come in while it was dark. Yeah, that was good. Everyone was sat watching us after the long haul. I still remember that flight. That was New Year's Day, 2021. Scott Franks, thanks so much. I'm glad you enjoy the channel. And yeah, if it's people like you coming to say that is why I still make the content. Thanks so much. Really kind. And it makes such a difference, because doing it for the YouTube, sort of the YouTube studio page just gives you loads of numbers and percentages, and it's not much fun at all. But hearing stuff like that is what makes it so much fun. So thank you. Thanks, Scott. And thanks, Sparrow 777 Driver. Glad you liked it. It was a good New Year's Day. I agree, Chick Point. I really enjoyed it, and I still look back at that really fondly. Mark S. Well, I subbed today, so I hope to catch a full stream in the future. What I've seen was good. Love it. Excellent. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Mark. We'll see you next time. Yep, plenty of streams to come. The pink squares are turn directors. Yes, Mike's Basement, we did do that. It works really well. I've been using that. We used it on the way out of Heathrow. Not sure. What's the box around the main wheels for? 350 long haul was so much fun. I recreated it a few months ago in the Heavy Division 7A. Excellent. Yeah, very good. Thanks, Igloo. Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. Here's our colleague then. No pressure. Speedbird. They flew us in. They're in a 350, but I have the wrong CSL pack. I do apologise. Mikey M says, I dipped in and out throughout, and it was a good watch. Thanks for giving us this. You're very welcome. Are we going to get to see that? This is the problem with being a pilot. Sometimes you miss things. Maybe we'll do the outside view to be really sure. Yeah, that's better. So they've done a non-precision in the 350, which I don't think I've done yet. Sure, it'd be very similar. Lovely. And here we are. Oh, and the KLM. Oh dear. Well, we didn't hear them on Unicom when we did transmit, and we heard our colleague transmit, so I think we're definitely in the right. Joanne, you're very welcome. Thanks for coming along. Wojtek says, what I'm sad about is we'll only see 4 engine planes in the sim. I know, I agree. Thanks, Richard B. A good point. Yeah, do join the Discord if you're interested in flight sim, or you want to chat, and there's liveries and chat about any topic you can think of, especially flight simulator stuff, of course. And it's great fun, full of an amazing bunch of people. So do join the Discord if you'd like to be a part of that. Thanks, Ed. Glad you enjoyed it. Welcome to VATSIM, says Mickey. Exactly. I think we can park on one of these. And then replay coming very soon, of course. Oh, don't worry, MJ. My voice has cracked so many times on streams. That's the problem when you talk for 4 hours straight. It does start to happen. There goes the KLM. Let's take this one here. So let's try out that pink line. Pink dot on the line here. Oh, now I can't see the yellow line. Somewhere there. This was slightly, I think this turns ever so slightly too tight for that to work properly. We'll have to do some night flying with this as well. It's just so pretty. I absolutely love the shape. Right, that light should be off. Put the nose wheel there. You can use this little picture for the nose wheel. It works very well. I think that'll do. Right, parking brake set. APU's available. Let's shut them down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Welcome to Marrakesh. I hope you've enjoyed the flight. I've enjoyed it a lot. Thank you all so much for coming along. It's been a real treat. Let's jump into the replay. So we're going to disconnect from VATSIM. I have not announced the TCA winner yet. I'm going to run that very soon. Igloo needs to go back and watch the last 2 flights. Excellent. Yeah, enjoy those. See you next time, Martin. Yeah, the new control should make it easier in VR. Thank you very much to the speedboat who flew along with us. That's great. It's always good fun to have a colleague. Makes you feel less lonely flying along, even though I know I'm streaming. Oh, there's the KLM. They did type it into Unicom, so fair enough. They did the ILS 10. Right, disconnecting from VATSIM. Let's have a look outside. I do love X-Planes replay. So, what do we think? So it does come in nose high, and I've seen these things land in real life, as I'm sure a lot of you have, and they do just look ridiculous with that nose all the way out there, all those wheels out. So 50 feet for the threshold in theory. Here's a bit of the float. Yeah. No, I would... So we touch down here. Oh yeah, I'm not concerned about the touchdown zone. Or about there. Definitely within the touchdown zone, so that's good. Still a bit of a float, no doubt about it. Just trying too hard. But if you try too hard in this airplane, it can bite you. Because look at that tail. Look how close. That wasn't too bad because we didn't float too long. I've done practice landings when I first got this, where I got much further down the runway. And as you drift along, this tail gets so low. What's our pitch here? Oh, that's no good, is it? Oh, we can't change it now. That's my fault. Over here. So there's the pitch. It's 6 degrees, and look, we've basically run out of room. And then it settles. Boilers come up. So the reason the feet per minute thing is I have a feeling it might be. What happens is as you get very low, and as the main wheels start to spin up, these ailerons come up, and they come up quite fast. Watch this. Up they come, and they push it down, so you get that sudden weight on wheels effect. So those last couple of feet, where normally in a 320 we'd have touched down and that would be that. This touches down the main wheels, and then there's a couple of feet there with all the spoilers coming up where it just sinks down. I don't know if the real airplane was like that, but I've heard it was. I remember reading an interview with a 340-600 pilot who said that landing it was fine. Landing the main wheels was okay because they dangle and they're quite nice, and they take the load like a 330 very well. But the problem was the spoilers come up, and then you've got the main gear here facing the complete wrong direction where the front of it has to hit the ground first. So beautiful animations by ToLiss, really impressed with it. Because this can't have been easy. But there you go, so just sort of settling on. Right, enough talking about the landing. Thanks Chris, glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, I see what you mean, Berkefly, yeah. Pretty close though. I hadn't noticed unless someone pointed it out, to be fair. Beacon, yeah, you can turn the beacon off. I should have done that, good point. Definitely better than 211 feet per minute. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the feet per minute on this are just slightly incorrect. RNAV worked very well. Yeah, no, it did. So let's zoom back into the air. It's just so pretty, isn't it? Oh, I know what I want to do, which we haven't done for a while. I used to do this all the time. Let's get the spotter shot. Can't believe I haven't done this for so long. Could have probably used a bit more rudder than I did to get that nose around. Love it. This is what we've been waiting for. And I went max reverse on this one. Got to bring it roaring to a halt. Thanks, Carl. Glad you enjoyed it. You're very welcome, Santiago. Ethan's Aviation, thanks all for coming along. Landing this in a side wind will be sketchy. Yeah, I agree, Andy. It's going to be interesting. We're going to have to try that as well at some point. One day it will happen to us. We'll be flying and the crosswinds will pick up more than I expect. So, right, let's put it back up. And we're going to do... Which view do we fancy? I think this view. I do like those double engines. Where does that put us? 1,000 feet, a bit further back. Right, I'm going to say thank you all so much for coming along. I've absolutely enjoyed it, as you probably noticed. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you so much for saying so. Thanks for all the kind words. Thanks for the very generous donations. I really appreciate it. And of course, thank you to Elitis Maggie for the $5 super chat. Really kind, Elitis Maggie. As they say, thanks for the awesome stream as always. You're very welcome, Elitis Maggie. That's really generous. And thank you. Thanks for coming along, thanks for chatting, and thanks for contributing towards the channel. Thanks of course to everybody else for coming and chatting as well, and those of you who just watched along at home, really appreciate it. Thanks to the moderators for coming along and keeping us all safe. Again, we're on Twitch and YouTube now, so make sure to pick the platform you prefer. And I'm going to say we'll see you again, another live stream or video coming very soon, and let's get the outro music. See you next time. Bye bye.